So Michael Hurley right in the middle there, the 18-year-old. He had his gallbladder removed just a few weeks ago. What a great story, him playing his first game. As we go down and join Ricky Olorenshaw. Good on you, Ricky.
How's the nerves been in the Hurley household this week?
We've tried to keep it pretty low-key because he got very nervous before his NAB Cup game. So, yes, they're all right. There's no question about it.
And, Andrea, you saw Michael in the Roos before the game. How was he feeling?
He was fairly settled, but I think inside he probably is pretty nervous.
And who's going to take the credit for his football ability? Who's got that?
He comes from a fairly long history of sporting tradition on both sides of the family, so I think he's probably going to get it one way or the other.
Well, enjoy the day. Good luck to Michael. I hope he has a great career at Essendon. And he's wearing number 22, the number made famous by Billy Duckworth.
Big shoes to fill. Thanks for that, Damien and Andrea Hurley with Ricky Olorenshaw. And it's great to have with Ricky today on the boundary one of the greats of South Australian footy, Bruce Abernethy. How did the power look to you, Bruce?
They look pretty good. The park is fantastic. The weather's great, Bruce. Plenty of pressure on Port Adelaide, both on and off the field. I suppose off the field, the financial situation, similar to Melbourne clubs, we need to fix our stadium deal going forward. But on the field, well, the players are set to go because it's pre-season. Everyone's bigger, stronger, fitter, faster. We've heard it all before. There's a lot of talk. Now it's time to play football.
And they've started early, ever. Broken there with about 6 Essendon players around him. And not sure how it all started, but before the ball was even thought about being bounced, Dean was into it.
Unusual for Dean Brogan to be involved in that. He normally just walks away and keeps his emotion in check. But that's first game, isn't it? Just ready to go. It's been a long wait and they want to just get their frustrations out on each other.
I bet Josh Carr was thinking too of sprinting off the bench, just going out to help. Great to be home.
He'll get back into it.
So, just about set to go. Weather will play a part this afternoon. There's young Hurley, 5th man chosen in the draft. And there's the best and fairest from last season. Brogan, as we said at the outset, enjoyed his best season last year.
A couple of matchups. Dyson, he's going to run with Peter Burgoyne off the wing. And Winderlick and Kane Corns will run with each other.
Bill Chambers is out, so we assume Ryder will do the rucking duties with Hill.
That'll be for conditions because it's 30 degrees. It's pretty warm out there. And when you're 7 foot, maybe a smaller bloke might be a better option.
Hot air rises. Umpires this afternoon, Margetts, Ryan and Jeffrey, and away we go. Sunday footy at Amy. Hill slaps it down. Strong tackle on Hocking.
Stand up. Thanks, Dean. Good tackle. Thanks, Dean.
And there's Brogan just laying that tackle, letting him know that he's there and he's going to play pretty tough here this afternoon.
Brogan clean possession. Goes after it again. Dominic Cassisi over the football. Stanton going hard as well. Cassisi crawling. The skipper reefs it back in. Needs to be careful. Reefs it back in again. That's twice. Oh, he's very lucky. Very lucky.
See a lot of rotations out here this afternoon too with the conditions. There's Brogan just letting Andrew Lovett know that he's got his eyes on him and watch out.
Clint Eastwood wants his stare back. Brogan digs it out. Corns helps it on its way. Stanton pushed off the footy. Motlop soccers to his own advantage. Runs onto the ball. Feigns a hand pass. Running out of space. Too clever by half. Is it out of bounds? No play on's the call. Hurley his first kick. Lucas has got it. Or is it Watson on the other side? Well, it's neither. It's Skipworth.
So nice little segue, isn't it? Hurley to Skipworth, the two guys playing their first games for the Bombers today.
One-on-one footy here by Port Adelaide, making sure they've got a man. Also got a couple of numbers down, just blocking up the hole also.
And so Hurley, a second good kick for him, so that's a terrific start. McPhee and Slattery and Watson involved, and now Fletcher, who bangs it into the centre. It's a beautiful kick to Winderlick. Winderlick's off and running and then delivers. Got courage there, cut off, well done by Cracker. Gets back to Peter Burgoyne. Kane Corns just had to search and Cracker, brilliant. Absolute back turn and created some space. And then Pearce with a probing kick to the pocket. Westhoff running.
Oh.
Gee, Cracker missed a steam train, didn't he?
It was a train. It was a hill train. They were coming at each other. Oh, it was actually Lloyd.
A Lloyd train. Tossed in. Hill's got it now. Too slick for Hocking in the pocket. Goes after it again. Spills across to Motlop. Dragged down. Brogan. Ditto. Ryder took him down. Fletcher to Hocking. Head down. Trying to bulldog his way through. Nothing doing. And the umpire will do the business again.
Good start. Fierce bodies at it. Matty Lloyd just setting the standard.
Brogan decisively. Kasisi tackled. Ryder. Hocking comes away then. He's been active. Goes to the outer side. Leading in the race out there, McPhee. Wheels around. He's at left half back. Good kick. Skipworth plays on. Forward at half back. Goes down towards the half forward line. Not looking at the ball was Lovett. Somehow he picked his opponent's pocket. Gets a hand pass away. Monfries on the boundary. Neagle in position A. Almost the mark. Well done, Pettigrew. Got it on the ground in front and they'll bring it away. Members side. Coming through Motlop again. Trying to be a little too clever, and the ball is close to the boundary line and goes out. Cracker clearing it very wide, putting Motlop into space, but he couldn't capitalise.
The game's only 4 minutes old. 12 tackles laid already.
So Hill and Brogan. See Motlop way up the ground here. He's gone. Well, he's had his hands on the footy a few times, but he just hasn't been able to get rid of it. There's a real Fletcher factor when they play when they play Port Adelaide. We might talk about Adelaide on the game. They do a whole lot better, obviously, when he's in the team.
It's a good kick.
McPhee's kick it is, and Neagle had a fair go there and missed it. Corns to Corns. To Pearce, who has bulked up. They told us he had. Running hard and kicking long and kicking brilliantly to Ebert, who's on the right side for him in short. And Gray takes the mark.
Beautiful counter-attack there by Port. It got the ball off. Corns could have actually kicked it out long. That was Chad. They're going to play on here. And they didn't do that. They gave the short hands and then they were able to work it down the wing. And the kick over the top into space, such an important kick. And Port Adelaide have tried it a couple of times. It's the first time it's came off. But gee, Nagel had his golden opportunity there just to take it and have a shot at goal.
Well, he was a rising star a couple of years ago, Pearson. He just hit a flat spot, hasn't he? But he's bulked right up this year.
Got some guns now.
45 metres out. He's kicked the ball beautifully today. It's his third kick, and that one gets the goal.
Well, they'll be hoping that the Pearce really develops, takes that next step, as they will be with Boak and Gray, the young players that they didn't get enough out of last year. And when your young players aren't coming through, it doesn't help out the older experienced players. Port Adelaide, they come in here this afternoon chock full of confidence, a wonderful pre-season, a full list, and they're expecting big things in 2009, and from players like Daniel Pearce.
Good start on a warm day. Pearce very busy. Play restarts. Hill got into Brogan. Corns went to ground. Watson in there. Attracts the football. Attracted a crowd. Pearce. Surgeon. It was well done by Corns to slap it out of there. Carlisle a long way up the ground. He's at right half forward. Nimble too, if you don't mind. Treadray gives it back to him. Carlisle from 50. Beautiful kick. The fullback.
And that's what you want your defenders to do. Take their forwards out of their comfort zone. Get them down the ground and take a risk. And Carlisle did that. Treadray beautifully done. He waited. Just held that handball and gave it off to Carlisle, who finished beautifully. He's probably not known for his goal kicking, but a wonderful finish.
Here's one from our researcher Josh Kay. Only Will Thursfield's played more games than Alapate Carlisle without a goal until now. That was his 33rd game, first goal of those currently in the AFL. So Carlisle's on the board, and Port have kicked a couple here in a row. And there's some ominous early signs. Corns getting involved there with Brogan, and back to Kane Corns has been the best and fairest the last couple of years. Tredray's handball a moment ago was very good in releasing Carlisle, and then he goes bang to Motlop. Well done though by Fletcher. It's an interesting matchup, Fletcher and Motlop, isn't it?
Well, it probably goes to show how much respect the Bombers have for Motlop. They know that what he can do. He can score very quickly, so why not put the defender on with the gangly arms, and who very rarely has a big score kicked against him.
Brogan knocks it down in front. Burgoyne, Pearce in everything, lays it off. Brogan once more, hard against the boundary line. Motlop pulls it back. Ebert takes the mark 15 metres out.
Getting killed at the clearances at the moment. The Bombers can't get their hands on it at a stoppage. And talk about players that have been in the weights room. Brett Ebert looks like that he's been doing a bit of iron as well. But that's a good kick. Just a smart kick. Really dangerous position there. And Ebert's got a very good set of hands.
So the margin currently at 12. Make that 18. Essendon yet to score.
Danger signs here for the Bombers. They need to win a centre clearance or at least nullify the footy. It's come out way too easy. 31 possessions to 21 so far. Daniel Pearce, 5 of those already. That's a very good start for him. Bombers just not getting their hands on the footy. Need to win it out of here now. Hill, as we said, needs to stand up. He's the key man for the Bombers at the moment. He needs to have an influence here.
Port have had 23 of the last 25 disposals, and they've kicked 3 goals in 3.5 minutes. So got to stop the rot now, don't you? Lade and Hill, interesting year for Lade. He went back to the SANFL last year after being All-Australian the 2 years before that. Davey couldn't quite. Pierce has been very effective early. Corns, Davey quickly onto him. Monfries, and then Dyson just tapped it back. Cassisi. It's in close quarters, and it just came off there off boat and scrambled and rolling and going forward, but a behind. So the Bombers on the board. Good defensive pressure there. Davey setting the scene. Kane Corns has kicked to Lade. Lade gets it to Salopek, and then Salopek back to Chad Corns. That one's cut off.
Watson kicks it down towards full forward, off hands. Cracker lurking behind, ample time. Spots a man moving to space. Cassisi. He's forward of half back. That last behind actually was good for Port. It means now that they've got a percentage. And if you're keeping a running ladder at home, they're on top of the table. It's taken by Hooley. This is Hill from half back to the wing. Beautiful kick. McPhee takes the mark. Hocking moves on. He won't be utilised, at least initially. Now he is. He comes back to the ball.
He's had a rinse too, McPhee.
He's gone red.
Has he ever? I don't know why.
There's Scotty. Our man. Scotty Lucas.
Red, of course, Dennis.
Goes down towards the pocket. Not his intention, I don't think. Skid off the side of the boot. Didn't touch the laces. It's gone out of bounds right on the 50. We'll have a boundary throw in. And Lloyd decides he'll do the rucking here, opposed to Lade. As you'd expect, Lade won it, but straight to Watson. Kicks down towards full forward. Monfries too slick there. Davey left it behind. Cracker didn't. Salopek. And now Chaplin is running.
Takes his time. Nigel tries to run him down. Look for Peter Burgoyne. Dyson fell over. That's a big mistake. And then Burgoyne's kick to Ebert. Ebert on his wrong side goes bang to full forward. Bouncing ball. Dempsey and Burgoyne. There's some talent there. Gee, Burgoyne was clever. Very clever there. And then off Westhoff for a boundary throw in.
2 players in this Port Adelaide forward line that can kick enormous distance on their opposite foot. Ebert and Treadray. 2 of the best non-preferred kickers in the comp.
So Lade and Hill. Hill just didn't quite get a finger on it. Lonergan running hard. Now Hooley. There's over the top. Just in a bit of bother here, Lonergan. They've done okay, the Bombers. Watson. And now that careful kick from Skipworth's a good one to McPhee. It was a well-weighted kick, and now McPhee running hard through half forward.
To space. Lovett needs to go here. This will be interesting. Lovett did brilliantly. knocks it to a more central situation. Scotty comes on his right boot, gives it up. McPhee from about 55 metres. The Suns a problem. Davey had it fisted away cleverly by the goal kicker, if you don't mind. The goal kicking full-back in Carlisle. And they relieve the pressure again as Salopek goes to the outer side wing. Lade goes for a run. Oh, that's a telling kick. That's gone a long way. Going back, Burgoyne. Tough time for Hill. Burgoyne should be too nimble. Dempsey needed to get across. He stayed in no man's land, but the kick's a shocker anyway. Dyson chops it off. Watson clever. Hooley tries to feed it forward. Winderlick, Skipworth did nicely. Now plenty of time. This is Pears. A late inclusion for Bellchambers. Towards half forward. Surgeon comes. And that is the hand of a bricklayer as he puts it out of bounds.
Nice punch away. Davey just a little bit flat-footed at the moment.
Lade can take this out. He just taps it cleverly to Roden, and then Roden sold a dummy, and off he goes with a second bounce.
Oh, Jobe Watson in.
Never saw it.
Westhoff came in with a hip and shoulder.
Fair is fair, but just unaware that the player was coming, and that has taken the stuffing out of Jobe Watson.
Saw it coming for about 20 yards.
Oh, he was the only one that didn't see it.
Yep.
So
he's up. He's up. That's a good sign there for Jobe.
Hey, Sean.
So Jobe Watson coming from the ground. Roden ping for holding the footy, and the captain's got it Lloyd at half back.
Little short one to Stanton. Often the way, Ox, when you're concentrating on your running on a hot day, you've just about had enough, and your mind isn't focused on anything but the run.
And first game too.
Yeah.
First match of the season. You're just a little bit, you know, your proprioception and all the peripheral vision just hasn't quite taken in yet.
Here's Pears. Stanton will come very wide. Hocking had plenty of it. Hocking now decides to take on Lade. He was aware of who was chasing there. That was well played. Wasn't aware of who was chasing Dyson, though. Dyson under pressure goes back to Hocking, who then kicks it directly to centre half back. Boak's hand pass not particularly good. Roden. Corns. The short one, very short, in trouble. Boak is down, tackled by Stanton, and we'll have a ball up. Now that mowing is interesting too. Came into play right there. They're 5-metre strips. I know that because there are 5 inside the centre square, and I've got a theory. I'll come back to that in just a moment.
There's 8 in the centre square.
There is not. There's 10. I hope there's 10.
Oh, there's 10.
There's 10.
That's
Okay.
50.
I think it's an umpiring aid for how far the kick goes. Never seen that before. I've never seen it sort of mowed in oval shapes.
Thought it was crop dusting.
Well, that's right. It's either that or to confuse those Soviet cosmonauts. We've got a ball up alongside the centre circles. Our statistician, they can't help themselves. He said there is 10 in there. They love that sort of thing. Hooley taken down. Cassisi coughed it up. Love it. Well done by Hurley. Hurley and Hooley. Lloyd. Now Dempsey down towards half forward Skipworth.
He started pretty well, Skipworth.
He's coming in for his 5th possession. It's a good start.
When he went to the Bombers in 07, he missed that season with a knee, and then played very well.
Well, he got front position here. And McPhee, he'll have a shot. The crowd don't like it, but
Give the ball back.
was certainly there.
So no complaint really there. So McPhee, 18 goals last year, which was a PB for him at the Bombers, and he's went forward a lot last year, didn't he? Had a terrific season in 04 when he won the best and fairest. Started with the Dockers. Good kick. That's the kick
Great
from that
kick.
pocket. So Essendon have done pretty well in the last few minutes.
Well, the new colour in the feathers might just help the kicking action. But McPhee's a tall bloke. He's 6'3", 6'4". Get front position. Very, very hard for a player of surgeon size to outmark him. The only way he's going to stop him is probably to give away a free kick. So lesson may be learned here from McPhee very early on. Play to your strengths, and that's your height. Get in front. Very tough to get around.
Margin 11 points. Bruce Abernathy.
Much needed goal for the Bombers, but the Port Adelaide defence very young. Port Adelaide promised attacking fast football, and to surprise Nathan Cracker on the halfback line, if he's going to stay there, there's going to be fast attacking football.
Board member too, and he said that. Knocked down by Brogan. Backing out of the pack is Hocking.
Holding the ball, you've got the ball in one arm. Stay there. Play
Heard the
on.
umpire. Roden sweeps it out wide. Carlisle wanted to go forward again.
Well, that's an instruction. Carlisle to take off. He's got the speed. He's done it to Lloyd now, and he's done it to Nagel.
Westhoff got it from Corns. Mocklop 60 metres out. It's a long kick.
You can just about get the distance here too.
He'll go close. Launches one down towards full forward. One out. Treadray almost pursued by Pears. Well done, Pears. Forced the hand pass under pressure. A fumble from Ryder. Very lucky. Advantage is paid. And they'll bring it away. Pears kicks outside the defensive 50. Surgeon gathers the bouncing ball. He's 60 metres out. He launches one. And this one is out of bounds on the full.
And that was a bad option because he had players leading up at him, but he saw the big sticks and said, I'll make a name for myself here. I'll kick one from outside 50. Probably had to lower the eyes and look at a lead coming towards him.
So the Bombers with Lonigan just came off the interchange. Watson back on, by the way, just come back on, so that's terrific for Essendon. Kane Corns clever. Heard the umpy. Pettigrew to Boak to Salopek. 55 metres out. Lovely looking kick, just with the hook at the end. And Port, a couple of chances have gone begging. And interestingly, their defenders are having a lot of shots for goal. We saw Surgeon, Salopek, Carlisle all coming from the back half and running forward.
Well, Bruce Abernathy just said that's the plan. Off half back, get the runners through. Most sides are doing it. Port Adelaide, they believe that they've got the power and the personnel to be able to carry that out.
Bombers bring it out then. Stanton under pressure. And that pressure affected the kick, but the mark is dropped by Pearce. Quickly lays it off to Corns under pressure. Comes back to Ebert. Slips it away. Taken by Peter Burgoyne. On the bounce, gathered by Boak. Squares it still further. Now here's a chance for Salopek. Just outside the 50. Comes back to Cracker. Surely hasn't got the football. And another defender comes down to see if he can score a goal.
Just one little thing that's crept into Port's footy. They're trying to kick really low worm burners. Just need to put it out in front a lot easier.
Intended for Gray. Oh, well played. Got through. Pearce miscues with a kick. Bounces down towards full forward. Now there's going to be a free kick, and it's going Port's way. Roden trying to force a passage. Left the ball behind, but the tackler didn't know that.
Possession. Henry, it's David Roden.
That's what happens when you attack the footy. You make the play. And Roden has been very lively early on.
Jace, go out round.
He should be able to put this through.
In he comes, 20 metres out. Oh dear.
Wow.
Oh dear. Hangs it out to the right.
Very casual about the approach, wasn't it? It was almost a 4-step run up. He didn't take his time. Normally he sits over the ball for a while and gets his bearings.
So the Bombers, after being 3 goals behind in no time, hang in here.
Kane Corns just having a rest, Bruce. 9 possessions very early on in the first term.
Well, he's on target for what he normally gets, doesn't he? He's just accumulates so
Good ball. Hayden Skipworth. Never
so
had
effectively.
possession. Thanks, Brendan. Play
So
on.
Skipworth holding his end up. That's his 7th disposal. McPhee set a task though.
The arm. Up the arm. Stay there. Play on. Play on.
Not sure whether that was Chaplin or Surgeon's free kick, but anyway, Surgeon to Chad Corns to Chaplin. They're in trouble here, Port. Well done, Lloyd. To Hill. To Davey. Unlucky.
Poor
Unlucky.
handball.
Yep.
Very poor handball by Hill. All he had to do was get it over the top, and Davey had 30 metres of space in front of him to run into, but he handballed it out of bounds.
4 and a bit minutes to go. Just think a late goal to the Bombers here, and gee, they'd be pleased with the scoreboard, wouldn't they? I mean, Port were going to blow them away 10 minutes ago. Davey to Winderlick. Winderlick's little kick around the corner, and here is Watson.
Yes, good effort. Yeah, really good. He got absolutely crunched.
Difficult kick for the forward there, and now Brogan to Roden, and then Roden to Pearce to Roden.
Runs inside the centre square. Terrible kick though. All Essendon. Slattery's got it. Chips it short to Pearce, midway between the lines, half back and centre wing. Skipworth, well in fact it was Winderlick he went to. Both of them free, taken by Pearce. Motlop will run into an open goal. He's got the ball surrounded and kicks it.
Well, Daniel Pearce up to 10 possessions already. Just seems every time he gets his hands on the footy, something happens for Port. And that was just a beautiful kick. He was actually going for Motlop. The ball came in and he could have picked it up. He could have let it go through and decided to boot it through. Can't stop that one, Dustin Fletcher, his opponent. But it was just the turnover by Essendon on half back.
$57 goals last year. Only Scotty Cummings and Lauren Tredrea have kicked more than that in the season. Ricky.
We've been talking about Port's run off half-back. The reason why is because Essendon started very big up forward. They had Lucas, Lloyd, Naylor, McPhee all up forward. So Port's instructions were to run off at every opportunity. Essendon have now adjusted and gone a little bit smaller.
Roden. Well done by Hurley. And then Dyson getting it forward. Salopek. Gee, Lucas mugged him to the ground.
Oh, joking.
It was a good tackle. No prior opportunity.
Good tackle.
Oh, well.
Wow.
The benchmark's been set for good tackling. Here's Burgoyne. Well done. Salopek to Boak. Poor handball. Lucas. Little handball. Lovett arched his back cleverly. And then Skipworth with a check side that didn't really work. And it's out on the full.
It's been good though, Skipworth. That's ninth possession for him. Taken 3 marks as well. Be happy just to get his hands back on the footy at AFL level.
Chad Corns to Salopek. Salopek going okay too. Left half back. Clever kick. Combining with Boak a lot.
Oh, this bloke's on fire.
Pearce runs the boundary in number 6.
Open forward line here too for Port.
To left half forward. Feeds it inside. Motlop in trouble. Still Motlop on the 50. Very casual Motlop still, but it's going to work out okay. Tredrea's got it. Glares back at Motlop, who made it much harder than it needed to be.
Well, that's standard for Motlop.
That's right.
He doesn't make things easy, but he doesn't know what he's doing, so there's no way that his opposition knows what he's doing either.
That's the old Ronnie Burns thing. Ronnie never took it sort of easy. He always took the hard way. I think we said at the time if he was building a house he'd start with a roof. So Tredrea,
20 seconds gone.
35 metres out. He's on the clock. Trying to work it back. Hits the post. A fair way up.
Well, Motlop ran himself into the ground. He's come off for a rest and Fletcher follows him, and I think Dustin will be saying thank you. He's had to work pretty hard down back.
He is different, isn't he? As you say, he doesn't make things easy, but the good thing about him, he makes things.
Yes. Unorthodox.
Stay there, Brett.
It does happen when he's around the footy. Something very good or something that's going to make you want to tear your hair out.
Just stagnant footy by the Bombers.
Like Stanton there, unfortunately, and Carr getting involved. So he started on the interchange and had a fumble early, Carr, so he hasn't really had a clean possession, but he did well there. Stanton's nearly gone here. Slow motion. Dyson. They're under the pump. Well done, Slattery. Can't give a behind away, of course, these days. They're gone, I reckon.
Someone's got it.
It's good pressure from Port, but gee, Stanton was the one that started it all. He just was disorientated, I think.
Players just don't want to kick the ball anymore.
So Ryder doing that ruck work and Watson to fetch it.
Got the wall set up here.
In the back pocket then. Knocked away by Brogan. Brogan goes again. Wonderful commitment. Tredrea's hand pass was slick. Ryder picks it up though, and it'll be a free kick to Hill, who was held without it.
On the full to David Hill. Thank you.
Gee, Brogan set the standard though, hasn't he, with his body work, and that's what he has to do. He's a big boy, he's got a huge frame, and he can scare the opposition.
Lucas takes the mark. Wonderful courage though from Brogan, throwing his body down there to get the footy, or knock it on, because it hurts a big fella just as much as a little fella down there if you cop one. Across the face of goal, Dyson. 27 plays 7, a fair indication of the term really. In fact, Port could be a little further in front as Dyson goes around the outer side. Good grab by Hocking, liked his game. Watson, who came back after a very hard knock, kicks on the siren. And it's quarter time. Port Adelaide 4-3, 27. Lead Essendon 1-1-7. And I think Port would be well satisfied, Ox.
Well, they would be. Their good players are getting their hands on the ball, and their plan to run off half-back is working. The backmen are taking their forwards down the ground. They're getting involved. And we're just seeing Brogan, who we mentioned before, just throwing his weight around.
So a bit happening there as we go down to Ricky Alorenshaw, the assistant coach Alan Richardson for the Bombers.
Well, Richo, the run off out of defence for Port Power is causing you a few problems.
Yeah, no, look, they're a pretty good group back there. I think on the flip side, we're not taking the most of their opportunities. Certainly our key forwards, probably Jay in particular, but a couple of others need to make the most of those marking opportunities, so that was disappointing.
Hot day, mate. Those rotations become so important, don't they?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. It's going to be a last man standing up there. We've just got to make sure that we're close enough.
All right, get in there, Richo. Cheers, mate.
So Ricky there with Alan Richardson. So quarter time, it's a 20-point margin. It's the Power 27, the Bombers on 7.
Carlisle a long way up the ground. He's at right half forward. Nimble too, if you don't mind. Treadway gives it back to him. Carlisle from 50. Beautiful kick. It's half back and centre wing. Skipworth, well, in fact, it was Winderlick he went to. Both of them free, taken by Pierce. Motlop will run into an open goal. He's got the ball surrounded and kicks it.
So a couple of the 4 goals that Port kicked in that opening quarter. 27-7, some unusual goal kickers, including Carlisle there at the top. As we go down and join Bruce Abernethy and Ricky Alorenshaw.
Well, one thing I noticed in that first quarter was with Port Power's half-back line, Abbas. They're playing Stephen Salopek across half-back. We're seeing him show class in the midfield in previous seasons, but it looks like they may be trying to turn him into a bit of a Luke Hodge or even perhaps a more defensive Peter Burgoyne. But, mate, you played in 7 premierships with Port Adelaide. You got pretty close to heart. What did you gauge?
As you said, new role for Salopek. Port Adelaide, the defenders, they were happy with the young defence. The forward line themselves were very, very frustrated with what they'd achieved. They wanted more out of it. Peter Burgoyne dislocated a finger. He's still out there.
Motlop spent some time on the bench. Now it's the former captain's turn. Brogan sitting down as well. Some testing time for all the players. We've touched on the heat. Around 30 degrees. Just been told too, a lot of people still outside the ground. Apparently there's a ticketing problem. So a lot of people who were hoping to show their support for Port on what's an important day for the club can't get in.
Is that from the club or is that from a neutral person? We've got that information from
Never
Dennis.
ask a question you don't know the answer to, David. NFI. 4-3 to 1-1.
Just Carr just getting stuck into Ricky Dyson. Surprise, surprise.
Josh Carr. Amazing character. I read the other day the new and improved Josh Carr. Well, which is it?
Josh, Ricky, watching both of you.
So are we. Never have 2 players been scrutinised so carefully. Bounce in the middle. Hill very conscious there of Lade. Falls at their feet. Down goes Hocking. Slapped out of there by Burgoyne. Over the football is Corns. Reaching in his Slattery.
Ball held in. Never dived on it. Good work, guys.
One thing that's always puzzled me, Dennis, is why ruckmen don't try and get the ball at the top of the bounce or the throw up. Come back to that.
No, we won't. Kick inside the forward 50. Same answer as previously. Comes out towards Stanton. Didn't have the football. Thrown out of there was Westhoff, and he'll get the free.
On the full. Justin Westhoff.
That's a silly free kick to give away. That's frustration. That's a player that's expecting to get his hands on the footy and probably not getting it as much as he would like.
Gray on a hard lead. Strong hands there. Nearly the 15, just over the man on the mark. But he's something of a sharpshooter, this young man.
Well, we saw McPhee score a goal in the first term, almost the exact same position, a little bit further out, and he was just inside the right-hand goalpost, and it just bent from right to left.
Turns 21 tomorrow, and Aries, a leader, they say. Got that on the lead. There goes the kick towards the opposite pocket, and it bounces out of bounds. We'll have a throw-in.
It tested your theory too, Dennis, because I'm not sure if that was 15, but it was kicked across the mowing of the lawn, so they couldn't work it out from there, could they?
Pretty smart, by Port?
Yep, good build-up. So Port missing a few shots. Laid, Dyson's handball, gets it almost outside the 50, does now. Roden against the flow, did very well. Now gives off to Kane Corns. Back to Carr. Last time he played for the Power. Grand final win in 2004. Boak, that famous one when they stopped Brisbane. Salopek, good kick. It was well weighted.
Gee, I love the way Brett Ebert leads. He leads with 100%. He doesn't leave anything to chance. He just goes to the footy, and that's a better kick. The worm burners, they're just not reliable. That one, you just kick it into space, let the player use his judgment to get there at the right time.
Loves playing here. He averages 1.7 basically every time he plays at Amy, and he's about 1.2 away. So this is his favourite ground, and he's kicked it straight into the man on the mark. So Port having a lot of shots for goal here. Great effort at the back from Chad Corns, and then Gray got it slapped away. Ryder over the top. Chad Corns and Westhoff. Corns comes out with a footy, pushes it forward. Peter Burgoyne, free kick in the back.
Landed on his back, it's going to be a free every time.
Gee, Chad Corns was good then. Probably should have almost been paid the mark then. He thought, I'll get back into it here, but have a look at this for a smother. That's good protection on the mark. Actually being useful. A lot of players don't, or they think their job's finished. They just stand there. That's good guarding of the mark.
That's it. Your mark's here.
Peter Burgoyne coming in. He's only had the 3 touches, so he's been a little bit quiet, but he has played the majority of the game up forward.
So 25 metres out. Careful looking kick, and Port get the first in the second term.
Got a few issues here, the Bombers. They haven't been able to get their hands on the ball out of the centre. When they've gone forward, they haven't gone forward with any momentum whatsoever. And Port Adelaide, they just look a lot more hungry. They're willing to sacrifice to get their hands on the footy. And they're just not clumsy like the Bombers defenders are. The Bombers are giving away far too many free kicks and second to the ball.
Margin is 26 points, played 4 minutes in the term or thereabouts. And still the Bombers haven't had a kick. Hill and Lade will go at it again. Doing very well in here for Port Adelaide. Roden that time left it behind. Watson got it from Lovett. Goes out wide, intended for Winderlick. Slapped away by Surgeon. Bounce favoured Winderlick, and he did well in a tight situation. Kicks it down inside the 50. Coming up to meet the football is Neagle. Got down, slaps it out wide. McPhee beat one man, not the second. Taken down by Corns. Ball spills out. Watson did well. That was clever to McPhee. Kicks inside the 50. Gathered by Stanton. He snaps. Oh, well done, Jobe Watson. Stanton the finish.
That's a really good snap there by Stanton. Good attack on the ball by McPhee as well. Corns once again maybe a little bit stiff not to be given a free kick here for incorrect disposal, but they kept it alive. Watson got it out. McPhee involved twice on that occasion, but this is a good snap. Not an easy kick there. We're running away from goal and to size it up. Good finish by Stanton. He started pretty slowly. He's had now 8 touches, but didn't have much in the first part of the quarter.
And he's a prolific ball getter, isn't he, Stanton? Not a prolific goal kicker, but that's a good one for the Bombers. Back to 20 points. Centre break's all important. They got the last Essendon. It's where Port have been right on top. Stanton almost got his hands on it again.
High tackle, slipped up.
So
Advantage.
got it to Gray, to Carr, and gets it back to Salopek. playing that sweeping role so effectively, and Kane Corns drifting forward.
That's it, Jason. Right there, Jace.
Leading possession winner on the ground at the moment.
12th disposal for him. Short kick to Pearce, to Peter Burgoyne, who hooks it back, and that was going very close before Slattery cut it off. It had some hope in the run, I reckon. So Hurley to bring it back in.
That's where Port Adelaide have been good too. They just really get the zone in place very early, making the Bombers kick long.
Nice kick coming out from Hurley to Hill. Plays on immediately. That was a little premature. He goes across to Pearce, though. Pearce drives it around the outer side in front. Mark is taken by Monfries. Plays on immediately. Watson may have put this out of bounds on the full. No, it bounces out of bounds.
It's a poor call there by Joe Watson. He was running nowhere. He had a player right in front of him. He had no option other than to go out there. Don't call for it if you're not in the right position, would be the instruction from the coach.
Lade knocked it down. Stolen away by Hocking. The high ball inside the forward 50. Strength shown from Chaplin initially. Well done by Corns. Chaplin, Pettigrew now. Slips a hand pass out. Corns left it behind. Lovett inside the 50 once more. Skipworth. Neagle gets through. Kicks from 45 and puts it through. Back-to-back goals for the Bombers.
Not a bad way to get your first touch, kick a goal. He looks a little bit cumbersome at the moment, does Nagel, but a mistake there, a very rare mistake too by Kane Corns. This is what the Bombers have got to do. They've got to hurt Port Adelaide when they make a mistake. This is a really good finish because he had enormous pressure. That's what he's in the side to do. He's take his opportunities. If he only has 4 kicks and he kicks 4 goals, he's done his job.
So hopefully those people that Dennis talked about outside waiting to get in have made their way. It's not a bad crowd. Bombers kicked 2 in a row. They're closer now than they've been since Port kicked those 3 in 3 minutes. So, and 2 good goals. Stanton and Neagle both longish snaps. So Pearce from Peter Burgoyne, and then Ebert the target flew early. Slattery did very well, and then Tredray's hip and shoulder really hurt Dempsey.
High tackle. Easy. High. Michael Hurley. Bring him out, Henry. Bring him.
And that's a man hitting a boy there. Warren Treadray is a big, big man. Dempsey, he's only got a very light frame, and he's in a bit of pain at the moment.
Thanks, Warren.
So just trying to gather himself here, because
Joe Watson really all that much, has he?
No, Joe Watson went from the field in the first quarter. He wouldn't weigh a lot, Dempsey.
That's it, Kane.
So Lucas in the back half.
He's at 75 kilos, Bruce.
So, in fact, he's built a bit like Nathan Cracker, I reckon, isn't he? Similar type.
Very light. And Warren Treadray, he's every bit 100 kilos, and he's been in the system a long time, so he knows how to use his weight to his advantage also.
There's a good little patch for the Bombers, I reckon. Stanton to Davey. Next goal in this match could tell a tale.
Winderlick, or rather Skipworth, kicking down towards half forward. Clever by Chaplin. Salopek's away. Hesitates short of the wing. Showed a lot of it to the man coming at him. Took a deflection. Pearce, Salopek. Towards half forward. It stays in. Coming up to meet the ball is Burgoyne. Swings around. Goes for distance. What a clever kick. Running to space, Treadray. Deep in the pocket is Peter Burgoyne. Sets it towards the goal square. And this ball runs off hands and goes out of bounds now. Motlop has been penalised here. That's for the boot.
Can't use your feet like that.
Well, that's interesting. It flies in the face of a free kick that wasn't paid in the NAB Cup. But he used his boot, I think it was on Hogan, and was paid a mark. Obviously, there may have been some inquest into that. And as a result, he's been penalised here. And the umpires of the MCG yesterday aware of that too, as Dempsey comes away. Credit to him. He's going again. Here's Watson.
So the two that got knocked out kicked to one another, Dempsey and Watson. Watson's long bomb in. Chaplin brought down. Cracker back to Pettigrew. Pettigrew's left foot. Carlisle's got it.
Gee, that was Scotty Lucas there. Just looks a little bit rusty at the moment. Should have taken that grab.
Jim Porter got something here. Pearce to Ebert. And then Ebert with a lovely kick to his captain, Cassisi, at 50. Goes into Peter Burgoyne. slow handball. Roden close enough. One side step. They're losing ground. Back to Chad Corns. Corns wobbles it. And Ryder hops up in front of Sean Burgoyne. So a terrific opportunity blown there by Port. And can the Bombers hurt them on the rebound? Hurley's handball set Watson a task. They might get out of it. I think they'll be okay.
Ball comes out towards our broadcast side. Came from Slattery. Lloyd gave it to Fletcher. Kicks towards half forward. Would have got the numbers at least initially. Brogan hit it too hard. Beat Pettigrew. Neagle looking to keep it in. He's got a man at close quarters. That's Dempsey. Dempsey goes to Hill. He runs inside the 50. Lines up. This ball is bending away and just misses. Gee, that looked good en route.
Did it ever? And it's unusual for the ball to go left to right down that end of the ground. It normally comes from right to left. A good play here by Nagel. He was able to keep it alive. And Fletcher, there's a free kick against Motlop. He's a little bit hard done by, but it was probably there.
Chaplin in the back pocket. Across the face of goal to his captain, Cassisi, and that's a wayward kick showing courage. Lonergan, so too. The man in front, Westhoff, falling to the ground, did brilliantly. Now they'll run it up. Carlisle got the hand pass away to Motlop. Motlop barking the instructions as he goes. A nothing kick really. A chance for Ebert to run onto it though. Ebert read it best. Did he get boot to ball? No.
Some transition footy there on a hot day from one end to the other in a hurry.
Gee, when Port Adelaide decide to actually move the ball quick, they are super, super dangerous.
But the Bombers going okay.
Well,
right
they're actually
now.
holding it, aren't they? They were in serious trouble 10 minutes ago, but they've stopped the flow for now.
Lovett's just turned it over. Gray got it to Cassisi, to Peter Burgoyne. Goes back to Salopek. It's been very good, Salopek. High ball, Tredray, Brogan taps it back, Ebert on the wrong side to Boak, to Westhoff, who was brilliant a minute ago, and Westhoff right in front, strolls home and kicks the goal.
Oh, I thought Brogan had done everything possibly wrong in that passage of play, but what they were able to do is that they kept the ball alive. Here, Brogan should have gobbled this. I'm not sure if it was the sun or what it was, but he missed it. But Westhoff, he's very clever in front of goal. He's got all the time in the world. But a lot of tired players out there. The Bombers players, have a look, just hands on knees.
Port Adelaide by 21 points. Ricky Olorenshaw.
Just analysing the Bombers. Their rebound out of the back 50 is pretty good. They're trying to spot up targets through the centre, but where they're falling down is that final kick into the 450, and their forwards are getting pretty frustrated. So I think it must be the pressure that Port are applying in that midfield.
Hill looking at Brogan again as he went up there, because Cece gets a hand pass away. Boak does well, breaks away the short one towards half forward. Watson put his hands up. He wasn't looking at the ball. It struck the back of his hands, ricocheted as far as Pearce. Pearce, the high ball down towards full forward.
Oh, well done.
Well done by the youngster.
Gee, he got himself in really good position there against a strong body in Tredray and just held his ground well.
He won the battle of strength, Hurley. Goes out very wide. This is Hurley. Little chip over the top. Taken by Lovett. Lovett wants to go. Releases Watson. He's on the wing. He can go for a run. Has the one bounce. Drives it down towards the attacking 50. Stretching. McPhee takes the mark 55 metres out.
Good kick.
Runs around. Spots a man in the pocket and goes to him. Monfries. Sharp angle. If he decides to go at goal. Angus Monfries.
Angus, the line's good.
That's their first mark inside 50 for the match for the Bombers. Compared that to Port Adelaide, who have had 9. If they're going to be any chance, they've got to get marks very close to goal.
So Monfries, 16 goals in 2007, up to 18 last year, but down from 22 in 2006. Comes in and puts it through. That's what they need, Monfries, to kick some goals for them.
McPhee's had a bit of influence too early on in the match. That kick was a beautiful spot up. He saw him out of the corner of his eye and he was able to check the kick. And that's not easy to do. Watson, he's been working really hard too. He's had 15 possessions. You'll just see it here. He wheels around and he says, oh, hang on a minute. Just got him. And beautiful set play. It's important to kick those goals from the boundary line too.
So back to 15 points. It was Hurley's mark that actually got all that going, and for Damien and Andrew, his parents, who Ricky spoke to before the game, a proud moment, but a good start for him, the 18-year-old, to out-muscle Treadray in that one-on-one. It was a big play.
On the side, got the hands, play on.
So Carr in hard, but no free kick. Brogan, G. Pearce has been effective. Sean Burgoyne starting to have a big say. Peter Burgoyne's had an impressive second term. There's a lovely kick to Treadray on a long lead. Treadray over the top. Carr on the left foot. Just too far for Westhoff. It was an awkward kick, and now Pears ran it over the line for a boundary throw-in.
I think it's time that Matthew Knight says, right, someone's got to go to Pearce. He's had 16 possessions, and they've been hurtful possessions. Someone's got to go to him and stay with him. Maybe a Winderlick.
So Ryder doing the ruck work with Fletcher. Oh, well done, Burgoyne. He's really good at that. The handball out to Westhoff. It gets to Cassisi. Keeps down low. Can't quite get the angle right.
Duck the head, Dom, straight into it.
Heard what the umpy said to the captain.
On the 2 metres.
So Cassisi taking over from Treadray. And we catch up with Cassisi at half-time today.
It wasn't a popular decision by everyone, was it?
He's been captain?
Yes.
No, it was. I think it was a big discussion.
Yeah.
Interesting stance by the coach on all of that as Dyson goes short. Made it clear, I think, it wouldn't have been his choice, but then I think got in behind it. Like this young man, Hurley, on debut. Told to play on. Confidence to stand and weigh things up. Goes to the outer side. Brogan flew in front. Hooley's got the crumb, though. Gives it across towards Slattery. Winderlick. On the move is Lloyd, kicking it down towards half forward. Chopped off by Pettigrew. Across to Chaplin. Goes with the right boot. Corns. Back come Port Adelaide. Breaking hard is Pearce. Tracking him is Lovett. Pearce has got the ball just forward of right half back. Short towards midfield. Marked alongside the centre circles by Roden. Gives it back to Chad Corns. Now comes out wide. Motlop. Motlop is about 75 metres out. Takes on the man on the mark. Kicks deep towards the pocket. Not a bad kick either, and the mark is taken by Lade. Certainly the kick favoured him, but drove him back deep to the boundary line. It'll take a pretty clever kick from here if he decides to go.
He is clever, though. He can. These are the sort of kicks that Brendan Lade can kick.
Daniel, take him out. He's on the mark. Brett, no, another metre, Brett. Brett, back here with me.
And also the ruckmen do like to prove to the little blokes that they're just as good from the tight angles as they are.
Round he comes, and he's proven very little as this ball goes about 30 metres wide of the far behind post, bounces once and goes out of bounds.
Fair to say he didn't get the contact that he was hoping for.
That was like a putt at Augusta, but finishes in the bunker. Big leap from Ryder, wins it down in front. Burgoyne's got it now.
He goes back towards Brogan. Oh, gee, Hocking was good there.
Fine. You both dived on that. Go down. I'm mid-zone.
Tough cookie, Brogan. So he and Lade both on the ground. They'll do a fair bit of that by the look of it. And Ox, 30-year-old, and 32 in Lade's case. Ruckman, unusual. So holding the ball against unusual for a club to carry two ruckmen over 30.
Yeah, indeed, and to be in the same part of the ground too. Normally one's resting, but I think Port Adelaide's objective this year is to have Brendan Lade playing more up forward. Brogan will be the key ruckman, but Brendan Lade will be doing all the ruck work forward of centre. So Brogan might just get a rap over the knuckles for coming too far down the ground on that occasion.
I guess the other thing with Brogan, he's 30, but he started footy reasonably late. Stanton from almost a missed kick by Lucas, so that's a dangerous kick. Peter Burgoyne got a touch. Cracker run down by Monfries. Well, I don't know. I thought he actually handballed it, but the umpire was in a poor position to make that call then, and that's a terrific mark in the front by a bloke who's played a very good game in Pettigrew. He's kicked to Roden. Poor handball. Peter Burgoyne in a goal.
See, they're tackling well now, the Bombers.
Well, Port a bit slow motion there too, I reckon.
Well, 33 to 22 in the tackle department at the moment in favour of the Bombers.
Pearce coughed it up. Davies got it. Winderlick, the meat and the sandwich. Lloyd was going in the other direction. Well done by Cassisi to Roden. Driven out of defence there by Pearce, or was it Burgoyne? Burgoyne towards midfield. In goes Hooley. Over the ball was Gray, worked off it by Slattery. Pearce did well. Skipworth back to Pearce. Forward of the wing, goes down towards the pocket. Chad Corns made it look easy.
He's a classy player, isn't he, Chad Corns? He's missed a bit of pre-season. He's had 3 operations in the break, all on different body parts, and he's out here in round 1. Probably just shows how durable he is.
A scar on legs. As one bounce to Surgeon, speak of the devil, going down towards left half forward. A second bounce, runs inside the 50. Interesting kick, it's the bomb in rugby league. Off hands by Hill, found it on the ground too. Hurley. Advantage is paid, no advantage there. Scott Lucas trapped under the football. Brogan arriving quickly, and that's his sensible, common sense decision.
I don't know what Gray was doing there. He was running at about 300 kilometres an hour, and then he decides to pull up on the kick and just flop it up.
It's got to come back.
Well, believe it or not, I think the Bombers would be delighted that they're only 16 points down, because Port Adelaide have had their opportunities to really blow this game wide open. To the Bombers' credit, they've hung on.
So it's got to come back to Hurley.
It's an improving player too, Basher Hurley.
He's been good today.
Just very poised and very clean. He's coming in for his 9th possession.
Played 10 of the first 11 games last year, and then a groin injury kept him out. He was...
No.
It's awful to Gray. And then Gray goes back to Treadray, back to Gray, then to Westhoff, who should kick his second, and he does.
It's a gift.
So it took a while to get there. That's a disappointing result for the Bombers.
If you're going to go short, you've got to make sure you hit the target, because that is just not on. Basher Hurley, who we'd just given a rap to, he had to come back off the mark. You still got to do the basic things, and I guess when it's warm and round 1 and all that sort of stuff, you've still got to stick to the basics. But Westhoff's got his second gift goal, being in the right spot at the right time.
It hurts on the scoreboard too. We're talking about 16 points not being too bad. Now you're 4 goals, aren't you?
Margin 22 points. Port on top. Bruce Abernathy.
Yeah, Dennis, I think credit to Essendon. Despite that goal, then they've actually gone up a cog in their defensive pressure, and that's making Port Adelaide second guess, and a little bit of frustration on the power side.
Brogan waited for that ball, still won it, down to Burgoyne, laid it off to Kane Corns. Boca fumble, Corns comes again, Davey took him down, spills wide, well done there by Hooley, fed it through, now a chance again for Davey. Davey back towards Hocking, not sure that was his intention. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
I reckon it was, Den.
Okay.
He pulled his kick halfway through, and I reckon he got instructions off Davey that Lucas had run forward. Good team playing, good talking.
So well done by Hocking. He's had a pretty good afternoon.
See how Scotty's going. He's going down on confidence.
Scotty, and he comes then. Hits the post. Rams it into the post. Reduces the deficit. Just over 3 minutes and 20 remaining in the term.
He's had a couple of interesting round 1s in the last 2 years. He kicked 7 here against the Crows, and then got badly injured, didn't he, against North Melbourne very early on. Just a good transition by Port. Got it right down to centre wing. Surgeon loves to run. Good chase by Fletcher. Ebert, good grab.
Oh, geez, a good player. He's got a great set of hands. He's got a good leap on him.
If he was another, what, 5 or 6 centimetres, I mean, he's a great player, but he plays tall, doesn't he? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how high he is.
But he's one grab, and they're very rare to find.
Normally a pretty good kick too.
Yeah, when he's on, he's on.
He's explosive, isn't he?
Little rocket.
He'll play his 100th game next week. And that one just missing. In fact, Ebert plays his 100th and Chad Corns plays his 200th. So in this town, Ebert and Corns are pretty big names in footy and sport.
It's going to be over in Subiaco.
Milestones next week. In fact, we're working with a bloke who had a milestone very recently, Dennis. Congratulations.
Well done, thank you very much, Bruce.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Bruce. Hurley comes away, goes short to the pocket. It was
a big, what they call a big one.
A big one.
5-0.
Thank you.
Think more of Graham Pollock's average in Test cricket.
No clues. Bring somebody at home, Ox. Offhand cracker, slips it away. Corns fed it back, laid, to Kane Corns. Little 1-2 there. Chips it down towards Cracker, who centres the ball through the fingertips of Roden. Comes back to him. Does well to get out of a tight situation. Well done, Davey. Sensed the danger, got the hand up, deflected it to his own advantage. Now Lloyd. Lonigan. Watson tried hard. That's a clever kick. Well, almost. He was looking for Monfries. Going back and doing well was Lade, taking a tumble. Cracker. They've got all the numbers. Surgeon back to Cracker. Tardy kick, but all the time in the world for Chaplin. Bounces obligingly for him. Pettigrew has been good back there. Pettigrew to Salopek, having a good afternoon. Salopek towards the wing. Peter Burgoyne, as clever as you like. Good use of the body. Lovely mark. Did he go out of bounds?
Yeah, he did. He was with the hot dog stand. He's a fair way out. Just say one thing about the contrasting styles. Port Adelaide have had 18 running bounces to Essendon's 2. Just they're taking risks. They're playing on where the Bombers are more stagnant. Stop-start.
Lade, who was very good a minute ago, chopping off the Watson kick. Hocking to Stanton. Stanton running hard with a running bounce. Hawks. Lucas the target. Should have taken it in the end. Chaplin, Pettigrew. They have been good back there, those Port Adelaide defenders. Kane Corns, gee, dropped the sitter.
Second time in the same spot almost.
Looking directly into the sun there.
No chance, ball held in.
Well, he's dropped a couple. Lucas has dropped a couple. Lucas is very, very cold at the moment. He just hasn't got his timing at all.
Yet he's back to the sun, Scotty. I'd like to help him.
He needs to be looking into it.
Lade, clever by Cracker. Josh Carr, is that his first kick-ox?
He hasn't had much of it. He's had, no, that's his second one. He's had 8 all up.
West off and Porter away.
Gray kicks it from about 75 down towards full forward. Ebert.
Right, got to change that. Got to change that matchup down there because Ebert's now starting to get on top. Slattery, he's dour, but he just hasn't got the tricks that Brett Ebert has. And in a one-on-one contested situation, watch him. He just got really good balance. Wouldn't allow it. His strong hips. He's got the big legs, and he was able to hold Slattery. Most other players probably would have gone to ground in that situation, but he was able to keep his feet.
He's built like a fire hydrant, isn't he? He's so hard to shift. He just dug his feet in there. And there was no moving him. 5 marks inside the 50 for that man as he kicks yet another goal. Right on the siren. Ebert's got 2 goals, and Port Adelaide lead 55-27. The major break on a Sunday afternoon from Amy Stadium. The Bombers with plenty of work to do.
So the teams come back after half-time point with a handy lead in the hot conditions. As we go to Bruce Abernethy, he's got some special guests with him.
Yes, a very special guest, and joining me is Alice Salopek and Louis, who was quiet until about 5 seconds ago.
He was, yes.
How's he enjoying this first game?
He's enjoying it. Well, at the moment, it doesn't look like he's very happy. He's due for a feed, so he's...
Now, Louis just started the baby boom at Port Adelaide. There's so many other children around. As we look around, maybe you can tell us, hopefully, the future for Port Adelaide.
Yes, we have Teresa and little Nathan, who's, I think, around about 10 weeks old, and Carla and Tavita. He's 2 days younger than Louis, so, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'll let you get back to quieting down Louis. Thanks very much for joining us. And, guys, this could be the 2026 draft under the father-son rule for Port Adelaide.
Things are looking good, aren't they?
Yeah, everyone buying into the program.
Get clucky when you see that, Dennis?
Not anymore, Bruce. We were talking about my birthday too. I must thank you for that fine bottle of Pinot that you gave me. Very nice of you.
They were the sons of Roden, Tredray and Salopek, by the way.
I was going to ask that question, but I knew I was on dangerous ground, so I thought you'd know the answer. Rucks go at it. Hill starts the third term by winning it down. Roden goes after the football, inspired by that halftime interlude. And the umpire will ball it up again.
Well, Roden's got a few games to play before the father-son rule kicks in for him, but the other 2 boys, not a problem.
Corns. Oh, he landed heavily. Not exactly Sully Sullenberger. It's taken in there by Carr, or was it? Yes, he's got it now. Got it from Surgeon. Slow build up. Cassisi got it from Pearce, and now it's with Motlop on the wing.
I reckon the Bombers fans will be waiting for James Hurd's 3 boys to come through.
Westhoff, barely to 15. Releases Motlop, searching kick inside the forward 50. Here's danger. Eben hands to it. Loose ball at the back. Had time to grab it. Chose not to, and kicks it behind off the ground.
Motlop could have showed him how to do it, couldn't he? He did one in the first half, a bit easier than that. But what about the length of the Motlop kick? It puts defences immediately under pressure, doesn't it?
Well, it's such a rare ability. It's such a valuable asset if they've got a couple of players within the side that have got that ability.
And a huge advantage for teammates who know they can kick it that far.
Dangerous kick with Winderlick up for it. Had back surgery, Winderlick. In fact, I think he had it twice in the off-season. Gumbleton, we know they're high-prize recruits going through that very shortly. So Fletcher under the pump. Treadray doesn't get the free kick. Hurley, well done. Lovett to Watson. And then Watson in short to Stanton, back to Hurley. It's been a good debut. And now Hill running, the best and fairest from last year. Wanted to give off to Monfries, but the angle was all wrong. Gets a second crack at it from Cracker. Low ball inside. Been very good, Pettigrew. He's just swept up most of the day. Cracker, a bit cheeky. And Davey to put pressure on. Chaplin can't get through. He's gone. I reckon he had Pryor.
Oh, they very stiff there, the Bombers, because he did. He looked up, he saw, and he tried to fend, and he was tackled by a couple of players. There it is. Tried to get through. Incorrect decision there.
Margin 29 points. One down by Brogan. Davey had it, dropped it pretty quickly. Slung down there was Hocking. Or was it McPhee who's slow to get up? McPhee is groggy. Meantime, Roden's got the ball, threads a hand pass nicely to Pearce. Pearce back towards the corridor. Kane Corns run down by Lovett. Just managed to get the hand pass away. Burgoyne, Motlop, long kick wide of the mark. Getting back is Slattery. And it rolls through for a behind. Ricky Olorenshaw.
Well, I stood outside the rooms at Port Parrot at half-time. Even though they were leading, Choco Williams went berserk. He said to his players that they promised to do things over summer, but they're not delivering.
Adam McPhee, I reckon he's left a bit of orange hair dye on the grass.
That really hit hard, didn't it?
Did it ever.
So Lucas to Stanton to Lovett. Interesting comment from Ricky there on Mark Williams' demeanour at half-time. And now Hill, an early goal for the Bombers to be handy. And I reckon they're going to get it here, is McPhee, all on his own. And collapsing basically to the ground in the end.
Well, he kicked one from this angle before, didn't he, in the first term? But gee, that knock before where he got bounced off the turf. This is a good kick by Hill.
Beauty.
Don't know what happened to Port Adelaide structure there, but they'd taken off. That's their instruction to take the game on, run it off half-back, and they're one defender short.
And what he did the last time from this pocket was kick just to the right-hand side of
centre
the right goalpost. And it normally comes in from right to left here with the prevailing wind in Adelaide. This time he started it too far left and hits the post. So it's like a little bend in a putt, that one. It's the tough pocket at Footy Park or Amy Stadium. And so Port living a bit dangerously right now.
McPhee another chance. Not 15. Taken there by Lucas. Hand passes out wide. I think it was intended for Davey, but it runs out of bounds in front of Monfries.
That was Scotty Lucas there, though. He had to instinctively handball at first. He took the 3 steps to try and take them on, realised he was under pressure. You just got to give that handball. You've got to give it and move on.
Hill, clever, behind, picked up by Davey. Snaps, deserves a goal, misses. Wonderful ruck work by the best and fairest last season. David Hill has had his problems on the ball, you've got to say. Generally, Port have been the masters.
Over the back.
A good combination laid, and Brogan had been for a few years. Surgeon.
Lade found himself out of the side last year.
He played 5 games in the SANFL. Well done, Lovett, straightening up, and a good mark there.
Gee, that was a good reach there
Watson,
by
who quickly goes on, and again a loose man forward, Stanton. So Suddenly some holes in this Port Adelaide defence.
It's one thing that Port Adelaide can do. They can give you a bit of latitude. They trust themselves. They play off you. And when they decide to go, they go. And they do show a lack of respect for their opponent. But the pleasure that they've had is that Essendon haven't been able to move the ball quick enough to actually hurt that.
Well, those couple of late goals hurt the Bombers just before half-time. But a goal here, and you'd reckon they'd be close enough to put some pressure on. He's got it, Stanton. He's kicked 2.
Well, they didn't really kick through on that. You see it here. The ball comes in. And once again, their structure. There's a really good mark there by Watson, because running back into the flight, the Port Adelaide players thought, oh, hang on, he's not going to be able to leap because he's not known for his high marking, but he had a good vertical leap there. Stanton, a really good finish. That's where you can get Port. If you can move the ball quick and you can pinpoint your passes inside 50, they become vulnerable.
So the margin back to 22 points now. Eminently gettable. Essendon doing most of the attacking. Good bounce, restarts play. Brogan won it down, falling to the ground. Watson did well. Hocking goes out wide, taken by Stanton. Hurley, growing in stature, growing in confidence, goes out very wide. Lucas, Cracker arrived quickly, put to ground by Lucas. Davey emerges with the football, goes to Monfries, sweeps it inside. Watson took too long, recovers on his knees, tries to feed it out. Falling to the ground there was Lloyd, or was it Hill? It was Hill. Comes across towards Dempsey. Dempsey spots Lovett. Lovett takes on the man in front, is taken high. Well, that's a lesson learnt, I think.
Go back and take your kick. Hey, get back!
Because there was a man on for the hand pass. He elected not to go.
Get back.
And that hurt.
I'll tell you one thing. Pettigrew has given him an absolute mouthful when he went down.
Get out of it! That's it now.
Giving him a clothes on, he said,
Come away, come away.
I don't know what he said over the top of him, but he wasn't happy with him.
Get out.
Well,
I don't know what Lovett did wrong. He just got the footy and took off and popped one around the neck, and
he can have the last laugh. And he comes. Oh, worth a chuckle. He puts it through.
he lets him know about it too. He's coming off. One thing we don't know what's happened earlier on, but you'll see Pettigrew here. He's right into him. I don't know what Lovett did to deserve that, but just saying, get up. It's a good way to finish. Good way to respond. Don't need to do any more. Go off.
Back to 16 points, Ricky.
Well, I just made an observation on Scotty Lucas. He looked a little bit rusty today, so I was thinking just putting the coach's hat on, perhaps put him to centre half-back, or even let him go on the wing and play like a Matthew Richardson type role. That then frees up Jay Nagle to be more one out, and he's looked really dangerous in that role.
So Peter Burgoyne launches to Motlop at full forward. Slattery held his ground. Motlop took a long time, and then in the end, scrambles are behind. So interesting time in the match, isn't it? When we got to this point late in the second quarter, and then Port responded with a couple of goals, albeit one of them a bit lucky. Let's see whether the Bombers can close it to within a couple here. Well, Fletcher's just about kicked it behind.
Now, what's the call on that?
Hey, that's a tough shot from Fletcher there. Nailed it, though.
Well, he didn't juggle it across the line, apparently, Hurley.
I've been really impressed with this boy.
Had he juggled it across the line, would it have been a free kick as the ball comes out to Ryder? He's at right half back. Haven't seen much of Ryder this afternoon. Not a bad kick. Son a problem. Hocking took a strong mark in the conditions. Gave it to Watson. Now an opportunity. This is McPhee, 60 metres out to the square. Lloyd on the angle. Collision in midair. Chaplin and Lloyd. Spills behind a Pettigrew. Digs it out of there, taken by Cracker. Cracker goes out wide, hitting the ball hard is Pearce. Good strong running from Pearce, goes down towards half forward. Burgoyne knows where his man is. Hand passes it back to Corns. Corns over the top to Carr. Carr looks inside the 50, spots the man Motlop. And Motlop will like his chances from here.
Gee, what about that contest?
I think it'll come back.
The one between Chaplin and Lloyd, that was amazing. Both players just committed to the footy. It probably sums up Matthew Lloyd's day, actually.
Both heavy bodies too. Guys who play heavier than their weight in the book.
And Chaplin has just come off the ground. He's just grasping towards his sternum area.
So Motlop, their leading goal scorer last season with 57, including 7 against the Bombers in round 7. Interesting, in the last 4 seasons, 4 different guys have been the leading goal kicker. Ebert, Marnie and Treadway.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Motlop kicks a spectacular goal.
Now, a lot of people out there will be wondering, how does he shape the ball from left to right? And it's an absolute art. You've got to hold the ball almost on its belly. Here it is. Just the big collision between Lloyd and Chaplin. You've got to hold the ball on the belly, and you've almost got to kick from inside to out. And it's a very, very hard skill to do. But you'll see that. It's almost a bent leg, and it comes left to right. Very, very tough to do.
So much magic about him, isn't there?
Yeah.
So a couple of goals to Motlop. Won the soccer early on, and that one just spectacular. So Port get back to a comfortable position, but Essendon doing well. Lonergan tried to take it away from Carr. Burgoyne was good, but Dempsey was able to get a smother in, and then Lonergan.
High. Easy, Sammy, you've got it, Sammy. Got the arm around the neck, play on.
So Lonergan quickly on, and then kicks to a hot spot. Lucas had a big fly.
Push out.
Got pushed. Yeah, he got pushed in the air.
Push him out, Michael. Switch me.
And that can cause serious damage. Surgeon down. It's almost like a pinball when that happens. There's a lot in it.
There was the surgeon. The knee right in the middle of the back.
And then they had to call the surgeon.
So let's see if Lucas right on the 50.
It's not his day-to-day, is it?
Not so far, but we saw a couple of big forwards late in the match Friday night turn ordinary nights around late, didn't they?
That's
We've
right.
seen Scotty Lucas do it in the last quarters before. He's kicked big bags.
Well, against West Coast and Hurley's last game. What did he kick 7 in the last quarter?
7 in the last quarter, yep.
Been lazy 8 that day.
They almost stole it.
He had a shot to kick his 8th too, didn't he?
I think he did. Here's Watson. Just forward of the wing. Chips it out wide. Skipworth takes it, goes 80 metres from goal. Long. Neagle will fly from the back again. Still to complete a mark from that position. He's playing too much at the back. Salopek, particularly when they're kicking up into that breeze. Big scramble at the base of the pack is Josh Carr. And that ball's not coming out.
Yeah, I'd like to see Nagel actually get front and square, actually lead up with the player kicking the ball inside 50. He's waiting back. He's letting his opponent dictate terms at the moment.
Hooked down behind by Hill. Once again, Watson with the outside of the boot this time to the goal square. Well covered down there by Carlisle. Always in position A. And the behind. Essendon still close enough if they're good enough. They trail by 21 points. They'll finish on the breeze. And I think it's fair to say that breeze might be freshening. There's Kane Corns up from the back pocket. Kicks around the outer side. Mark is taken by Salopek. Wants to go hard against the line. Kicks beyond the wing. Edged out of it there was Hurley. Treadway back onto the loose ball. Kicks it long down towards full forward. Motlop one out again. Well played by Slattery that time. Arriving quickly was Gray. Head down Dyson wins the hard ball. Comes away. Bombers show some defiance there. Some steel. Up was Hooley. Couldn't complete the mark. Dempsey. Winderlich. Out wide taken by Hooley. Hooley searching hand pass forward. Now an opportunity for Hocking. Davey arches the back. Trying to slide away. Then elected to give it off. Winderlich runs inside the 50. Intended for Skipworth. Hitting the ball hard. Kane Corns.
He dropped it.
Did he?
No advantage.
Gee, Skipworth's going to get the free. I thought he was held without it.
Well, it actually hit it. I don't reckon he took possession of the ball. And Kane Corns is...
That's my
Free kick
thinking.
every time. He tackled you, you just dropped it. Oh my God!
Well, I think the umpire might have got it right.
Thanks, Brendan. Hayden!
which means, in effect, Ox, you and I are wrong.
Yeah, I didn't want to say much then. Good decision, umpire.
Yes. And Skipworth directly in front, 35 metres out. This to pull it back to 15 points. They're coming, Bruce. They're coming. Skipworth started brilliantly.
Well done.
Exclamation point right there.
Good result for Skipworth and for the Bombers. The drafting of Skipworth has come under question in recent times, in particular in the papers yesterday. But to all, he's conducted himself unbelievably at the Bendigo Bombers, and since he's been on the list, he's done nothing but train, work his tail off to get another opportunity after a knee injury, and all credit should go to him and the Bombers. It's working out well at the moment.
So Skipworth gets the goal against Kane Corns at Bruce Abernethy.
Yeah, Bruce, just Dennis's comment on the wind. Being a local, it is picking up. It is an afternoon sea breeze, and it will get stronger in favour Essendon in the final term, which means if they can stay in touch, they're a good chance, while Port Adelaide will be looking to extend their lead in the few moments they've got left with it.
It's a critical time here.
It is, and I like Ryder in the ruck. I don't like him around the ground in the ruck, but in the centre square, really like him in the ruck.
So Chad Corns, the third man up. Playing well here, the Bombers. Love it. Monfries, they've just got a bit of a spring in their step. It's whether they can convert. Their forward line hasn't been as dangerous as Port today, but they're getting a few more opportunities right now. Love it. Ryder, clever. Lucas paddling forward. Peter Burgoyne stood up well, and then Cracker. Westhoff running on to it. He was off. To Kane Corns. Lovely kick. That's a beautiful kick to Gray. And Port, for most of the day, have been able to get a quick goal when Essendon has got within this sort of margin.
And unfortunately for Scotty Lucas, every time he's near it, something awful seems to happen. He just stumbled at the wrong time. You have one of those days where the ball doesn't bounce your way, or you hit the post, or you fumble when you think you're clear, and it just seems as though that Scotty, he hasn't had a clean possession where you can say, yeah, it's worked out well.
So Gray 45 metres out. He's got it. Good kick. Ox, the Lucas Lloyd set up forward is going to be discussed a lot this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately for Bombers fans, they're two great players that have been so good for so long, and unfortunately their time is coming near the end, and whilst we don't want to write either player off, it's just inevitable that their time is diminishing, and if this isn't their last season, they've got a couple more left, but their influence over games is nowhere near what it was.
And talking about those key forward positions for the Bombers, Neagle's off the ground now, so he's been squeezed out by the focus on Lucas and Lloyd, who haven't been major contributors this afternoon. Burgoyne tries to flick it out to Roden, stolen away by Winderlick. Comes wider still. Over the football is Ryder. In trouble, Lonergan. Trying to find a way through Skipworth. Lonergan comes again, crashing in boat, left the football behind. Corns is in there. That's Chad Corns. Trying to emerge with it was Cassisi. Only as far as Stanton. Tough in the clinches now. Both sides realising this is when the game is on the line. Stanton taken down by Peter Burgoyne. We'll have a ball up. Belated whistle holding the ball.
Woo. Two guys holding it in. Play on.
Peter Burgoyne then to Boak. Runs to the wing, hesitates, in two minds, backs off, wheels around, well played. Kept his composure. The kick not good though. On the lead, Gray left it behind. Dyson gets a hand pass. Dempsey sweeps it across to Watson. Watson feeds it nicely to Winderlick. Lloyd. Now Stanton. Meters in the clear. Could have run. Goes wider still. Taken by Lovett.
Good running,
Lovett
Watson.
back to the middle. Watson 70 metres out from goal. Sets it long. Here's a chance for McPhee. Coming back with the flat of it, showing courage. Chaplin digs it out. Taken by Burgoyne. Over the top, the dangerous pass. Surgeon gave it to Peter Burgoyne. It was Sean earlier, and Surgeon pats it out of the air.
Have a look at that.
That doesn't look good.
No, that's Scotty Lucas's elbow.
Doesn't seem to bother him.
It's not normal. got what is unusual, to say the least. Got a tennis ball stuck up his arm.
Lloyd releases Stanton, who runs hard and goes at a third goal, and it was touched on the way through, so boundary throw in.
You ever had that? And it's one of those on your elbow?
Would he be offended if you're a teammate and in the three-quarter time huddle you said, would you mind putting on long sleeves?
It's a hot day for that.
I was a fragile player. I didn't need that.
Brogan almost killed. So against Davey.
Stay there, Owen, stay there. Play on.
Big target to hit that. Brogan's chin.
Cracker back to Carlisle. Oh, to Sean Burgoyne. Kicks to space. Now Boak having a hard run here. He looked exhausted a minute ago, Boak, in the back.
I think Lovett actually got up on him that quick. He surprised himself how fast he was going, how slow Boak was going.
Boak's very tired. He was tired that last passage of play in front of us where he coughed it up with the poor kick to Gray, and he was sucking it in. It's last man standing. Look, it's an obvious thing, but if the Bombers can be within 2 or 3 goals late in this game, they're going to be exhausted, both teams. This could go either way. Cracker on the burst to full forward. Dyson belts it away.
Stanton onto the loose ball. Essendon much better in this term, working into the breeze. Watson, who's been superb, comes back to the middle. Skipworth. Hurley loved his game towards half forward. Big lick there, McPhee. Paid the mark.
Got nothing to go to. You got 4 back in defence here, Port Adelaide.
McPhee. Watson never stops. 60 metres out. Lonigan.
A little bit lazy there, the Port defenders. They had a lot of numbers back and they weren't willing to cover the space. They just zoned.
Well, judging by Cracker on the mark, he's dog-tired. Lonigan's got the ball. It'll take a good kick from here.
30 degrees. It is very, very warm. You've got to remember too, they've been playing in practice matches where they've had 26 and 28 players and they're back to 22, so the rotations aren't as often.
Lonigan.
Great kick.
It's a good effort. It was bending back, off hands. Neagle back on the ground, kicks.
Hit the post.
It must have hit the post on the way through, did it?
Yep.
Did it brush the post before or after it came off the players?
No,
doesn't matter.
Hit the base of the post.
Did it?
Yep.
Off hands, and then Neagle picked it up. Okay, here's Burgoyne.
Short to Cassisi.
Cassisi, geez, worked hard today. He's had 7 tackles.
It's a beautiful kick to Pettigrew, who wants to take Stanton on here and uses the run of Salopek, who took a while to get a handle on it. High kick to full forward. Carr, well done. Very well done. He just worked Dempsey around a bit there.
Well, he knows the crowd and the crowd know him. Big cheer went up for him when he took the mark, but this is just well judged. Another deep kick inside. I think Port have used that to their advantage today, that they've kicked the ball nice and long.
So Carr from point blank range, and Port stretched the lead again.
But just when Essendon look like they're coming, they're their own worst enemies. They make silly errors. But this is where Port are very good. When they've been 80 metres out, they've got the ball in long. It hasn't given the Essendon defenders time to get back and zone up. And it's been a lot of one-on-one contests. And another mark inside their forward 50.
Margin back out to 26 points. Josh Carr, a little cameo this afternoon after starting on the bench. 13 possessions. Valuable goal, that one. Get the feeling 20 points might not be enough. 26 might just be enough. Bounce favours Brogan. Stolen by Lonigan. Went to ground. Picked up by Carr again. Salopek been very good. Kane Corns ditto. That towards half forward Nebert. And they realise now, I think, the gravity of the situation. They're going for the jugular. That towards full forward. There's an old coach of mine used to say the juggler. Never really inspired us at just the right moment there, Ox. No.
Who was the juggler in your team, Dan?
I don't think we had one.
Big Bob?
Brogan, Hill, Roden. Roden hooking, not quite. Carr, a second crack. Ball still in play, I think. No, boundary throwing, yeah, hit the post. Bombers need to hang on here, really hang tough for the next 3 or 4 minutes.
And they need one of their forwards to step up and actually take a mark and go back and slot one through.
Brogan won the tap. Watson's been fantastic, and that was brilliant to Winderlick. Straightens it up. There was a bit of danger there, but Skipworth, it's a good kick in the end. Skipworth gets it back from Hocking. They've done well, those two guys. Pears, the late inclusion for Bell Chambers. Good kick.
Go there now, Peter.
So Hurley up to the wing almost.
Play on.
It's a lovely kick, Hurley, normally. He's had one bad kick today, Ryder. And then Ryder comes back slowly to Hurley, who's in the corridor now. Now to Dyson, who can take off. He's a hard-running player. Westhoff's in pursuit. And then Dyson with a little one to centre-half forward. Lovely kick, and Dempsey able to drift back and take the mark.
They're running better than Port at the moment.
I was just about to say that they're willing to link up and they're willing to go on to the next level, while Port are happy to push back and zone off. But one thing that Essendon can do is they can actually hit a target going forward. They're willing to work for each other, and that little passage of play there was one of their best for the game.
Speaking of which, they've had a lot of inside 50 marks with men on their own in this quarter, haven't they? They've had 6 inside 50 marks in this term.
Got the breeze in the last quarter too, which will be very handy.
Which means it's a pretty big kick for Dempsey. It looks good.
Beautiful.
Holding up.
Wow.
Bombers stay very much in this match.
This is a great comeback by Dempsey, because he got a serious knock in the first quarter, which we'll see it here. Warren Treadray just cleaned him up. He went off the ground and he's come back, and he's been very good. Got a goal, and I reckon Matthew Knights would have said, I want you to go forward and be a little bit dangerous. He's been able to do it. He just had a goal kicked on him only moments ago by Josh Carr, and now he got one back. Well done.
Port by 20 points, Ricky Olorenshaw.
The Bombers have got big hopes on that young man, Courtney Dempsey, this year. Last year he broke his leg and only played the 4 games. The year before he had hamstring problems and only appeared for the Bombers once. So they're really hoping he can get his body right and give him something this year.
Recall, fold up.
Umpire recalling the bounce. So
the best rule they brought in. This is the best rule. Yep.
Players have to get the heck out of there. Second time they throw it up. Taken by Boak. Hurriedly onto the boot, travels the 15. Westhoff has got it. He's booted a couple. Inside the centre square, Westhoff just sets it up. Very important last couple of minutes in this term. Game in the balance. Fletcher, experience, dropping back. Goes to Hooley. They peel off, but that's not the spot for it. Getting there was Corns, punched it down a wee bit. Taken by Dyson, though. Hooley, ambitious hand pass. Skipworth, they've got the odd man, though. And Winderlick will come away. Winderlick running up towards the wing, spots the kick. They're finding space. Monfries, love it. Important ball, this one. Hill ran to the wrong spot. Carlisle knocked it away from Lloyd. Follows up. Well done, Carlisle. Gets it out to Pearce. Back to Carlisle. Kane Corns, probing kick. Westhoff in front, reaching over the top rider. Falls to Treadray. Treadray, the snap. It's bending back. He's missed.
Matthew Lloyd went to ground far too easy. He had to hold his ground. He had to make sure that the ball dropped front and square. But as Paddy Ryder earlier on, where Westhoff got the easy mark from the kick out of the centre, you got to play in front. In the dying moments of any quarter, you've got to play in front, play the percentages.
Hocking to Stanton. I think we've seen 3 young defenders today. Carlisle and Chaplin, who have got a bit of mileage now, and Hurley have done very well. Gee, danger here. Oh. Fletcher might get a second crack. Asked a lot of love it. Back to Pearce. Pearce going for it and missing. So Westhoff saying, kick it to me. I was on my own in the goal square. So I feel like Port need one hit.
Yeah.
Interestingly, last year they lost 7 games, Port Adelaide, by 2 goals or less.
I just don't know if the Bombers have got firepower. They've got run in the legs, but they need a forward to step up and kick some goals.
Well, Lloyd and Lucas haven't kicked a goal between them now. In all the footy they've played at Essendon, only in one match have they played in the same match and not kicked a goal. And that was against, no, that's in the last 10 years. That was against Carlton in round 1904. So you reckon they're due for a big last quarter, one of them at least to stand up.
We know they're capable, and if one does, it'll make it a very interesting finish. Skipworth comes back to Lovett. Lovett touched off the boot. We've seen that a lot today. They're trying to spear the ball just over the man coming at them or on the mark, and invariably we've seen them hit that man. Well done, Hurley. Ball coming across. Hurley was able to knock it down to Watson. Fitting, he finished up with a footy. That's 29 possessions for Joe Watson. He's on career best pace. Three-quarter time, Port with a challenge. Good turn by Essendon into the breeze. 78 plays 56. This game has a lot in store. Don't go away.
So the big coat hanger, the Bombers did well. The story of the match so far, you can see Port have been sitting on that lead for a long time. It's still 30 degrees here at Amy Stadium. Later in the telecast, Nathan Buckley one-on-one with Ben Cousins and the highlights of Melbourne and North Melbourne. Well, Port being challenged as we go down to ABBA and Ricky.
Well, as you mentioned, Bruce, it is 30 degrees down here, so the fitness will be a big thing in this last quarter. All the players are on their belly, getting work on the calves and the hamstrings, got the wet towels on the head. But Matty Knights, he was pumped. I think he thinks these boys are a real chance coming home with a win. His words were, show courage to run and keep rolling at us. So I reckon my boys are a chance.
Ricky, you've got the win, but Mark Williams, we asked him at half-time. A fair spray, apparently, according to you, Rick, and a few of the other Port Adelaide people. But the third quarter, it seems that Port Adelaide gave away the running of the game. 18 running bounces in the first half of Port Adelaide, only 3 in the third quarter. They need to regain that run to maintain this lead. They do have the lead at the moment, though, Ricky.
Yeah, they do, mate, but I reckon my boys are a chance.
We're with you, Rick, and also ABBA. So this game's certainly up for grabs, and the stakes are, well, they're high for both teams, but you feel for Port Adelaide that they were in this position last year against Brisbane and Carlton in other matches, and they let it slip. A loss today would absolutely tear the guts out of their soul just about.
On the flip side of that, I mean, if Essendon can win on the road, come to Amy Stadium against a side people are saying can make the 8 this year, what does that do for them? Because they've got a few injuries.
Well, it gives us enormous confidence, but Port Adelaide, they've got their best list in, so this is about as good as it gets for Port Adelaide. Some of their stars have been down. Chad Corns hasn't had the greatest afternoon. He's only had the 12 touches. Kane Corns, he's had 23, but once again, not all polished there. Matty Knights, he truly believes that they're well and truly in the game. They finished off that last quarter very well, and if they can take that into this last quarter here, Dennis, they are well on their way to getting right back into this.
Of course, two coaches who know each other very well. Matthew Knight spent some time as an assistant under Mark Williams here at Port Adelaide, and ironically, Mark Williams was an assistant under Kevin Sheedy at Essendon.
Gone their trusty Lloyd and Lucas deep in their attacking 50. They're expecting things. They need a couple of goals out of them come this last quarter.
Margin 22 points then. Hot day in Adelaide. Been a good game of football. A lot of running. Who will stand up the better in the last 30 minutes?
Lloyd in the goal square. Lucas 30 metres out. We've seen that 100 games or so.
On the way down, Brogan bounces off the head of Hill. Brogan goes again after the football. In goes Cassisi. Taken by Lovett, created some space, did brilliantly. Hill has it now. They're looking for an early goal, but Hill sent it directly to Peter Burgoyne. Across it comes to Pearce, inside the attacking 50. Ryder got a hand to it. Here's danger. Ebert, it was a good tackle, took him off the line. This ball bounces, still in play. Motlop will try and conjure something here. Comes back to Gray.
Ebert's down. Ebert's down.
He was so intent on getting the angle right to try and kick that goal. He defended himself on the way down very belatedly.
Maybe just his wrist here.
Yep. He was trying to angle the body to get it around the corner, and the tackle took him in the wrong direction, and that's bad news.
Maybe shoulder too. He's got it heavily strapped to left shoulder.
Meanwhile, Gray comes in and kicks a goal. Oh, that hurts the Bombers. Great start by Port.
Well, that's Gray's second goal, but the news is Ebert just got a jarring to the shoulder. We'll see him get rid of the football here and kind of just take it in. And when you are a little bit proppy on that shoulder anyway. Oh yeah, they don't tickle.
So Ebert off the ground. Down to you, Ricky.
Well, he has taken a seat, but he's still in a huge amount of pain. The doctor's had a look at it. He still can put his arm above his head, so that's a good sign. And with his 100th game coming up next week, I'm sure he wants to get that shoulder right.
So Gray with a couple of goals here. He's a pretty good contribution. Chad Corns around the corner. Stanton. Cassisi and Pettigrew went for the same footy. Peter Burgoyne just pops it over. Corns just needs the ball to sit for him, and oh gee, he's made a mess of it. I thought it was out in the end. And now his brother to try and help him. Davey with him. Kane hacks it forward, but the Bombers might get a good result here. Dyson probing, kick a good one. Oh gee, Hooley just couldn't quite get a handle on it. Carlisle to Surgeon to Cracker to Carr. Now Motlop running for him here. And so is Salopek, who delivers to half forward, but Ryder did well. Bombers obviously must get the next goal.
Gee, they looked the way there. Paddy Ryder stood up and he needed to take that mark. He hasn't been that sturdy down back, but gee, he was good.
Fletcher drives it deep into attack. Numbers favour Port. Carlisle gets it from Surgeon. Carr's got it now. Salopek running hard yet again. What a good player he's been this afternoon. Close to the boundary line. Burgoyne takes on Ryder. Into the path of Pierce, running out of space. He's electric though. Pulls it back. Beautiful check on the lead. Gray.
He's starting to become a real handful for the Bomber defenders.
This will take a good kick from here. But if he gets back-to-back goals, suddenly things become much harder. Hand passes to Motlop. Motlop sends it goalward. That's got to be a free kick to Pierce. Advantage is paid. Lonergan comes away. McPhee, nothing up ahead on this side of the ground. He can go back to the middle, thought about it. Lonergan runs on. He's floundering. McPhee short. Watson through his fingertips. Hill waiting behind. Stanton, too hot for him. Going in his Corns. Well played earlier by Carr. Players are desperate. They're also tired. Corns a half chance. Couldn't control it. Slapped out of there by Hill. Taken by Hooley. Lucas.
Wow.
Those forwards we were talking about, Bruce.
Well, what about this one? 1,828 goals between Lloyd, Lucas and Treadray. And not one of them have kicked one out here this afternoon. And Lloyd needs one, and so does Lucas, and this is his opportunity.
Bear in mind that stat that Bruce told us about. When they played together, only once have they failed to kick a goal between them. And that stat remains. Lovely kick by Scott Lucas.
Davey was just magnificent in the centre of the game. He absolutely pickpocketed that ball there to get it going forward.
He did. I thought David Hill had done his very best to get it to the Port, the power side. But you're right. Corns once again wasn't strong enough to hold the footy in. That's what Davey's very good at. He's creative, clever. Big clearance here.
.450 goals now for Lucas. Down to you, Abba.
Here we go, guys.
Bruce.
It was a toss-up at the selection committee between Robbie Gray or rookie Wade Thompson, the excitement machine. Robbie Gray, such a big pre-season, got the nod.
He's done well too. He's kicked a couple and he's got dangerous as this match has gone on.
Big play here.
Motlop. Well done by Fletcher. Cassisi. Treadray stood tall there.
Done a good job Hurley though.
He has. I reckon Treadray's moved well today. He hasn't had a spectacular match. Hurley's done a terrific job, but I reckon he's moving better, Treadray. Here's Cassisi. He's a hard worker. It's out in the fall, so that's a terrible result. He's leaning back. Ebert coming back up the race. That's a good sign for Port. Now Watson looked up, didn't have a lot to go for, and now comes out very, very wide, but the Bombers can set something up.
Hill decides to go. Interesting. Hurley was going nowhere anyway. This man was waiting for him. Cracker got the ball instead after the error. Kicks inside the forward 50. Pearce reached for it from behind. Couldn't get it. Coming through was Ryder. He got it. Slattery comes away.
Got 100 metres here.
Skipworth. Been okay this afternoon. Releases it very early. Went to Lovett. It's okay as far as they're concerned, though. On the burst is Dyson. They go forward again. Lloyd going back. Hands in the back against him. And the free kick will go to Chaplin.
Just out of sorts, Matty Lloyd, isn't he? He's only had the 9 touches. Had no influence on the game whatsoever.
Hasn't a shot for goal, is he, Ox? Remember, I don't think he's had a shot for goal. Carr. Pearce has had so much of the ball. I think there's 26 coming up. 2 running bounces, 3 running bounces, inside 50, goes for goal and misses badly.
Just where he lets himself down a little bit, Pearce. He gets plenty of the footy, but to take that next step into an elite player, he needs to nail those. He needs to really put sides away and use that brilliance to penalise and hurt the opposition.
And Michael Hurley, just judging on that last piece of play, has a very good football brain. Treadway took off on the lead for Pearce. He went with him halfway, realised it was not advantageous for Port to kick it to Treadway, backed off and went back to protect the goal. He's got a lot of confidence, a lot of savvy. Roden inside the forward 50, missed down there by Dyson. Bad miss as it turned out. Slapped forward, in goes Ryder. Westhoff tried to give it to somebody. Ryder did well though. In all sorts of trouble down there was Hocking. Gave it back towards Dyson. He's run down. We've got a whistle, and I think it's going to be a Port Adelaide free.
Don't know about that one.
Dangerous man will get the football. Or will he? Motlop's holding it, but I think Cassisi will take the kick.
Not sure if he had an opportunity.
Well, as it wasn't a successful attempt to dispose of it, was it?
Well, if he kicks this, it's just about game over.
Well, we said all day this is a very difficult pocket. Motlop. Wanting the ball, but Fletcher going with him. Cassisi comes in, starts it right, and that's the difficulty. It stays right, goes through for a behind.
Ricky, what's the latest on Eben?
He's been down the rooms with the physio and he's had that left shoulder re-strapped. So I think if they do need him, the game's in the balance, he will be able to come back on, but if not, they'll stay there and keep him rested.
So Stanton, Fletcher, well weighted, beautiful kick, wasn't to Monfries. He's another one they just need a huge last quarter from. Skipworth still going hard to Davey, and Davey's neat kick to the pocket. Well, too wide in the end. I thought the weight was okay for Lucas, but perhaps in the end Davey should have had the shot and charged. Now Evert's back on, so hence the big roar. So he's done a Lazarus, hasn't he? We had him out for weeks a moment ago. Brogan, Carr, Peter Burgoyne, Pettigrew. Well, it's a good rule. And now Chad Corns kicks it out wide.
That's deliberate, isn't it?
Well, you can hear the umpire. He had a teammate right there, but I'm not sure whether he was going for the teammate or the boundary line.
It was a tight kick. That's the best you can say for it.
It's a teammate. Sit in the 4th row.
After the boundary throw in, Corns back in the action to Carr. 2 veterans combining, make that 3. Treadway will get a free kick. Coming a long way in search of a kick right there. Back in number 16 after his stint as captain.
He's the wild card for Port Adelaide this year.
Drives it around that outer side wing. Working in front is Lade. Had it fisted away. Arriving quickly as Pearce, the man who was 16 last season. In number 6 now. Working with Roden around the outer side. Kicks inside the forward 50. Westhoff, well, had he sprinted, he might have got to that one, but he's tired too. That's clever. Still going, Westhoff. Split the indifference. They stayed off him. He snaps and kicks it behind.
A lot of tight bodies out there now. He's been good, Westhoff. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but when he's got it, he's looked quite dangerous.
Watson the target. And then Monfries. They've got a lot of blokes that can kick goals, Ox. Westhoff and Gray are a couple, with the obvious ones, Ebert and Motlop and Treadway. And there's a few others. Dempsey to Davey to Winderlick. Now Lucas was in the goal square. He wanted it long. Winderlick goes short, and that's... Well, we talked about this at three-quarter time. Decision-making would be the big question mark on Essendon this last quarter, and they had a terrific chance there because Lucas was screaming for the ball on his own basically in the goal square, and they didn't go long. And Port now through Ebert trying to conjure something.
A lot of players out there walking at the moment.
Pearce deep into the pocket. Essendon have two men close to this footy. Fletcher uses Skipworth. Good tackle by Westhoff.
Slung 50 metres.
Oh, okay.
Slung him after disposal.
Doesn't matter much because Essendon, it was 3-on-1. Fletcher had the ball, so things are slowed down. And if you watch the players up ahead trying to head back into the 50 for Essendon, they're going very, very slowly.
That's the new rule. Can't fling a play once he gets rid of the footy.
Winderlick can run inside the 50. Question of accuracy. It's on its way, and he's missed. Well,
that's a poor
had an opportunity moments ago with a short pass and then the running goal.
Gee, what a wasted opportunity that was. That would have put a bit of pressure on Port.
Good kick in. Treadray the target out to his old mate in Lade, and then Lade Boakes run hard here. He's got Pearce over the top if he wants to. He goes to Motlop. Now he could do anything from here. Decides to go on to Pearce, who's run very hard, and then Pearce to Carr. Not quite. Well done, Hocking.
He's been good, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Skipworth, well, he's done enough, I'd say, today. It's going to be a long season for him to hold his spot, but he's done well.
Oh, he'll stay on this side, no doubt.
Watson, there's a few to come back, Ox.
Yeah, but he's
Winderlick wide to Monfries. Good kick, this one. Now Monfries have got to get a goal here, the Bombers. Monfries at 60.
Sends it towards the kickoff line. Hill outmanoeuvred by Corns. Davey! Goal umpire, no idea.
Can you help? Come in. You see him? That definitely was off the boot. Yeah. So touch. Was it touch? I didn't see a touch. You see touch? Very close. So we're not sure? I'm not sure. Okay, we'll go to the lesson then. Touch, all clear.
That's disappointing. Very disappointing if you barrack for the Bombers. Watch it again.
Hey. I got it.
Did it brush Pettigrew? That's the contentious point here. It was touched before he kicked it. I think that's a goal.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 though. It's a pretty hard decision to make.
Motlop goes bang, and Ebert couldn't quite hold it. Remember, he was injured a moment ago. Look, it was a hard call, but I've got to say, I reckon the umpire handled it really well, don't you?
Can I ask, why does the benefit of the doubt go to the defender, though?
It's about the only one that does.
You asked some good questions.
Well, why does a batsman get it in cricket?
We need a third umpire, that's what it is.
Would have you paid the goal having a look at the replay?
No, I think they've got the decision right. And I think the umpire did it really well because he's gone to all the concerning parties that were in position. No one could see it definitively. So
and I reckon you've got to admire the honesty of the four umpires too. I mean, because they admitted exactly where they were at with it. So Essendon again getting it back inside 50. Neagle trying to get a toe poke. Lonigan left foot. Oh, just couldn't quite.
Got too much on it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did with Hill to run onto it all straight for a goal. So not dead yet, the Bombers, but they do need a goal pretty soon. And
no,
there's a one.
It's a goal, but gee, at least they went through the process correctly.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with what happened, but just disappointing for Essendon. Ball's out of bounds on the wing. I mean, we've had a few looks at it and we still don't know. Port by 22 points. Still time for the Bombers, and this is the sort of game when one side tanks late. It happens very quickly. This won't be over until about the 5-minute mark or so, provided Essendon can stick. Brogan, Motlop, how did he get there? Motlop running into an open goal, one bounce, kicks it. And that might be enough.
By the clearing kick, it was another long kick inside their attacking 50. And just another clearance. They've been good at that all day, Port. They've been able to get it out. I don't know what Brogan was doing there. Lay took the ruck work 40 metres from him, and Brogan was the designated loose man, the little rover, 40 metres out.
So 3 goals to Motlop. Down to you, Abba.
Yeah, just spoke with the emergency umpire, and the situation with Essendon up there, if there's no umpire that has a clear vision of it, then it is a rush behind, and that's apparently what happened in that situation. There was no clear decision by any of the umpires out there.
Thanks, Abba. So Port get away a bit. Brogan attacked hard after the Burgoyne kick inside. Ebert clever to Brogan, and then Brogan holds up back to Ebert, and then Ebert's kick to Westhoff's a beauty.
Gee, that's good poise. To get the footy, you can always pull the trigger, but then to half kick it and to spot a player in amongst 6 or 7 people, it's a wonderful effort.
And you said it before, Ox. I reckon when they're going well, the strength of this forward line is that they have a number of options. They've got a lot of blokes that are capable of kicking 2, 3, 4 goals in a match. This is one of them, obviously, Westhoff.
Yep.
This would just about put Essendon out of reach. I think he's got it.
That's ugly.
The old left to right. He's kicked his third.
Well, 22 marks to 9 inside 50. That's been the difference between the two sides. When they've gone in with purpose, and they've gone in with options. Where the Bombers have gone in, they've been very tunnel vision. They've had a couple of options, but gee, no one that stood up on a regular occurrence. Matthew Lloyd coming off now. He hasn't had a good afternoon, and the days of Matty Lloyd kicking 7, 8 or 9 goals in the game have probably past his best.
As we told you, some problems for the crowd getting in earlier today. I think they'd be happy with that crowd. Over 28,000. It's pretty sparse earlier, but it has filled up. Apparently ticketing problems. Gray left it behind. Burgoyne digs it out of the middle towards half forward. Brogan was up, fell in front. Hooley now with Pears on the defensive 50, swings it wide. Hill leads in the race. Lade is tracking him. Hill towards half forward, really like Hocking's game. Comes back to the middle. Skipworth close quarters to Davey. Davey prods it forward, taken by Lovett. Lovett kicks inside the forward 50 for his side. Knee goal at the second attempt, dropped it. Monfrey's a chance. Coming through, Chaplin eager to make amends after that errant hand pass, gets a free kick. He plays on. So they've weathered the storm, Port. Made it interesting there for a while. And bear in mind, Essendon missed a couple of easy opportunities. And then, of course, that goal that wasn't a goal. Burgoyne on the outer side. A little chip shy of the wing, and Westhoff takes it.
Tough conditions too, 30 degrees and really, really warm out there.
And I reckon we came here today, Ox and Dennis, thinking it would be a shootout, high scoring, fast match. Well, here's a chance for Ryder to love it. Good run down at the back. She late in the match by Surgeon, and it's Porter on 99. Gray just flicked it off the back. Kane Corns went to ground. McPhee's kicked an early goal. Pettigrew did well. Cassisi. But it's been a relatively low scoring match, 14 goals to 9. Here's Carlisle. Just thinking about Lloyd for a moment, Ox. Peter Burgoyne, good kick. Chad Cook. Lloyd hasn't had a kick inside the forward 50. Has not been scoreless in a match. He hasn't scored a behind, obviously, today or a goal since the elimination final in 2002 when he knocked himself out against West Coast. So it's been a miserable day for the skipper.
Skipworth, not the same fellow, down towards half forward.
Like this game.
Yeah, he's been terrific. Comes back to Pears, right on the wing. Just over 5 minutes to go now. Pears told to kick it. It's not in Essendon's interest for him not to. Monfries Well, that's the way the grass is cut, you see. That's a hard call.
They've just got their numbers back now. There's Matty Lloyd sitting on the bench next to Watson. Watson's had a very good game.
Oh, terrific.
31. He's probably been close to one of the... Pearce has probably been best on ground, but, gee, Joe Watson, he hasn't given up, and he's been clean, and his efforts today have been...
I was watching him too. His ability to run, constantly push himself is quite outstanding. Here's Carr after the miss by Hocking, one of his few blemishes. Carr, the high ball, tracking it out towards the 50. Too cool for school. Oh, yes. Motlop pulls it back.
What was he doing then?
There was shades of Berlin 1939. There goes the kick inside the forward 50, and the mark is taken by Ebert on the lead.
I think he's doing the triple jump then.
No. Little chip towards full forward, knocked back across the line. That was good defence by Lucas. That elbow hasn't got any better.
Look at it.
That was gutsy. Watch this.
He just plays here. Oh, there we go. It's like a hare, doesn't he, when he just props and prances and...
Take that, David.
Skipworth from Lucas, and now McPhee. Could Lucas play down back, Ox, do you think, or not?
Well, I reckon until he learns, or not learns, until he regains the belief that he's still got the ability to take a mark and go back and kick a goal. I reckon to fire some plays just to get back into the groove wouldn't be a bad thing. And Ricky actually mentioned earlier on to go back down there and try it out.
It's a slow kick by Chad Corns, and you know that Lloyd and Lucas are going to have a lot better days than this. They're proud guys, they're great players. That's a clever kick by Roden. Beautiful kick.
They wrote him off last year, Lloyd.
Yeah, and he came back and kicked 62 goals and was runner-up in the best and fairest. But when they're not working together, it makes it very difficult to win a match. And that's what's happened today. Neagle, well, Neagle's still got a way to go, hasn't he?
He's got a long way to go.
In that structure, he's the odd man out, though, isn't he? I mean, perhaps they've got to commit to him at some stage.
I think he's a succession plan for when one of them do fall over. And Gumbleton was the other one, but he's obviously out injured. So yeah, they might be just a low in stock in that area.
So Motlop's finishing strongly here. It's coming back. He's kicked 4 goals.
Beautiful.
It's a good return. He's a sweet player. We use unique when we shouldn't. He is different to anyone I've seen play. I mean, I haven't seen anyone quite go about it like he does. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say.
I reckon.
Good and bad.
Yes.
I reckon Jared Brennan's similar, but not similar. Like Jared Brennan's very unique as well, and you don't know what you're going to get.
Can't kick a footy like this.
Can't kick a footy like that, but has different skills, and they are unique in their own way.
So it's blown out to 40 points, 41 points now, Bruce.
Hey, Dennis, from a Port Adelaide point of view, probably a breather sigh of relief that at three-quarter time, Ricky was feeling pretty good with the win, but a lot of pressure, as I mentioned, pre-game on Port Adelaide, both on and off the field. And it's not over yet, but I'm just easing the collar a little bit at the moment.
Bruce,
Bruce, you've gone out the limb.
Bruce. There goes Carr down towards the 50. Suddenly Essendon have stopped, and Porter finding something. Relishing this. Boat kicks inside the forward 50. Corns comes to meet it. Hand passes Kasisi. Kasisi snaps and kicks it behind. The captain this season, runner-up in the best and fairest last. Interesting, Treadray involved there. After his stint as captain, Warren Treadray wanted his old number 16 back. Daniel Pearce obliged. But in the future, Port intends to retire a player's number when he becomes captain. And where's the number 1? No argument there, really. Otherwise, one bloke moves out, another bloke moves in. Like Hermit Krabs. Not that umpire, he's hurt. You're suggesting calf.
Really?
Doesn't take me long. 107 to 65.
When you're talking like that, do you ever lose your train of thought?
Well, I do sometimes when suddenly an umpire appears, Bruce.
Just looking at Kasisi and Chad Corns, they've had 14 tackles between them. He's in trouble.
Umpire Scott Jeffrey.
Been good too. Been okay.
Davey cleverly done. And then Davies kick, giving Ryder the run of it. And well done again by Carlisle, who's had a fantastic match. McPhee, well done. Back to Ryder. Picked it up on his bootstraps to Hocking, who deserved the goal, but he scrambled it through for behind.
That's why I reckon Ryder may end up making a very good forward one day, because when the ball hits the ground, He's got more tricks. He's very good at his feet. And I'm not sure if he's being utilised the best down back. I know he's plugging up a very big hole down there at centre half back, but I reckon he could be a very dangerous forward if he was given the opportunity.
He's just 21 years of age, played a lot of footy now, and he's a work in progress. He's going to be something for a long time for the Bombers. So Port finishing well here, and Essendon with a bit to take away for the match. Kane Corns out wide. I reckon Carlisle and Chaplin have been fantastic, the two big defenders.
Been a while since both South Australian clubs have won in the same week too, Bruce.
We're back here.
I'm just trying to think if Adelaide won in round 22 last year, because Port won their last 2 games in 08.
I hope for Ox's sake they didn't.
Yeah, otherwise that stat is useless.
Start. Well, I suppose on the calendar.
Well, many thought the Victorian teams would dominate this year, but been a good start for the South Australians.
We'll be back in town on Friday night. Friday night football
that's a big
from
game,
this round, yeah. As a result of both those sides winning yesterday. Chaplin, short, Salopek, who was very good.
Don't give us the bad news.
The bad news is that the Crows beat the Bulldogs in the last minor round game last year, and Port killed North Melbourne. So,
6 months ago. That's what he meant.
Yeah, it's been 6 months, Bruce.
Long time.
6 months and 1 game ago.
Well, it depends how you look at it. You're obviously a half-empty man, Bruce.
Don't bring logic into it either.
There's Salopek, centre half back to the outer side.
They only won 3 games at home last year too, Port. This is a big win for them here today to set up their season.
It was a good win. 15-17, 107 to the Bombers, 9-12, 66. Yeah, they finished it off well.
There were too many good players over all parts of the ground. Their run-off half-back was exceptional. They had too many goal kickers up forward that the Bombers couldn't cover. And on the Bombers side, they didn't have any players that could actually stand up in their forward line. They didn't get it in there often enough, and they didn't take enough marks inside their attacking 50 to worry Port Adelaide in too many areas.
Port's key forwards ended up with a few goals, like Motlop and Westhoff and Ebert. They got 9 between them, and Neagle, Lucas and Lloyd. Let's go down with the new Port Adelaide captain. He's had a good day. He's with Ricky.
And with the captain of Port Power, Dominic Cassisi, must have been a proud moment for you, mate, to run out wearing the #1 Guernsey and leading the side out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we first ran out for the first 3 or 4 minutes, just had goosebumps, and you know, I think the other boys were the same. You know, we've had a long summer, and we're really looking forward to round 1.
Well, it's been a big build-up over pre-season. It's always good to come out and play well and perform well, particularly being under pressure at 3/4 time.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we thought we played well in the first half. Obviously, a few skill errors. We let them back in the game, but you know, to our credit, we had a good last quarter, and that's probably something we didn't do last year.
It doesn't matter how much fitness work you do over summer and how many practice games you play. You get a hot day, you do feel the pinch, don't you, round 1?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you see the other games that have been played over the weekend, a lot of guys cramping up, and just the intensity's gone up again this year. So, you know, it's going to be a great year.
Well played today, Dominic, and good luck for the rest of the year.
No worries,
so
thank
there's
you.
the new captain, Dominic Cassisi. Played junior football with Richard Hadley in Western Australia. And Richard, of course, back in form on Friday night. He's been dogged by injury, a premiership player at Brisbane. Played well for Carlton, and hopefully he has a good season. Certainly Dominic Cassisi's had a few here. Big win as far as Port Adelaide are concerned. Finishing strongly, they win on a Sunday afternoon at Amy Stadium. 15-17, 107 to Essendon 9-12, 66. Coming up, Ben Cousins.